Today, we're going to talk through the college football and NFL weekend previews, craft up winners for tonight, and let's cash another squad ride. This is Behind the Lines. We're beating Vandy, by the way. I don't give a fuck what anybody says.
Sure.
You guys want to buy this jersey? I just got it. Wore it one time down at Chapel Bill. Fucking dumb.
The only win seen in that jersey is by the Frogs. That's unbelievable.
What's going on, chat? Happy BTL Friday, the best BTL of the week. Episode 788 piece, as always. Hold the fry, joined by your two hosts, Krabs and Jovan, presented by Bookit Sports. If you're not tracking your bets on Bookit, change your life, hold yourself accountable, hashtag accountability, and start tracking your wagers over there on Bookit Sports today on the App Store or Google Play, whatever phone you got. If you're for some reason an Android guy, they have it on your App Store or what they call it over there, Google Play, from what I hear from the boomers. So download Bookit, whatever phone you got, they've got it on there for you. Start tracking your wagers over there on Bookit Sports. Use promo code BOOKIT to sign up. Hold yourselves accountable in the Big 2-5. Start this weekend. Start tonight. We got 4 college football games on tonight. I know you guys are betting on something. Okay? Start tracking your bets tonight. YouTube chat, let me hear you scream. What's up, boys? We only got Scott Quaid up and moving. A little bit of a quiet start to a Friday in the YouTube chat. That's okay. That's okay. Did Kenneth Gainwell lace him up? Oh, you mean Kenneth Walker? Yeah, he had 2 catches in the first half. One was a good one. The other one was minus 7 yards. So terrible play. We can go ahead and get to the recaps right now. Tempo and pace needs to be extra crispy, like I prefer my chicken wings. Okay, if we want to get to all the plays for today, got to be extra crispy on the tempo and pace as we get a Sade Whiteman 5-unit whale. There we go. There we go. 2 good things I know here, Jovan. Number 1, Sade Whiteman's goated. Comes in here every single day and drops a 5-unit whale. Number 2, the squad ride was free. The squad ride was free. Let's fucking go, Jovan. Great call. Not all overs are evil. Great work.
Yep, not all of them, but when there's 2 40-year-olds playing, those are in our good graces.
Yep, the Unk over. Never in doubt. Never in doubt. Wow, we got some subbies coming in here, folks. We got Austin Rendies coming in, dropping a subby. We got Tinlin Tutan. Tinlin Tutan getting involved, dropping a 5-unit sub whale as well. Can we clap it up for Tinlin Tutan? Attaboy. Golly gee, we got hella subbies to start out our BTL Friday here. We got a hype train moving and grooving. We got Miguel 162 getting involved, dropping a 5-unit whale as well. Let's go, Miguel. Let's go, Miguel. Attaboy. We got Pax Picks getting involved, dropping a 3-unit sub whale. W Pax Picks. Jovan, looks like the chat's pretty excited for a BTL Friday, if I could say so myself. Sure.
Pretty bricked. Love to see it.
Yeah. Great work. Great work. Let's have a weekend, boys. Yes, sir, Miguel. Could not have said it better myself. How about 5 more? How about another 5-piece coming in hot from JJJ Quack? WJJJ Quack. Clap it up for JJJ Quack. Attaboy. Attaboy. There we go. Krabs review on Arby's Bites is great. Dude, how does that post not get more views? I don't get it. I don't get it. I'm out here like a goddamn bomb diffuser in the war, front lines, trying these freaking Arby's steak nuggets for you guys and still not getting more love on the feed. I don't get it. I know you guys are doing your job. I'm sure you've all seen it.
Ketchup.
Well, I thought the ketchup might help with the engagement. Turns out, did not one bit. Did not one bit. Oh, brutal. Thought that video was going to go viral. Nope, I was severely mistaken. Severely mistaken. All right. Nothing like taking both RBs to score a touchdown. It turns out to be a tight end splooge party. Yeah, I mean, tight ends have been scoring at an alarming rate this entire NFL season. A lot of weird tight end scoring as well. It's been a tight end muckfest in the end zone so far this NFL season. Yeah, let's see if that continues this weekend. Hopefully not, because I don't think we're taking a tight end on any of the plays for today, for this weekend. So. Correct me if I'm wrong, but let's hope that ends. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and recap how we did last night. Jovan, you carried it once again. What a great fucking night. 4-1. 4-1.
Nice.
Islanders were free. Was never the Rangers. That's okay. You hit your other 4 plays. Who gives a hoot? Mainly the over.
Once the Rangers lost in OT, I knew the Isles were coming through. Shot plus 150.
Yep. Aaron Rodgers fantasy score. I mean, just a great play. Same with Marshman. W. Marshman. Max Scherzer. What am I doing? Fade my goat, Max Scherzer. That's on me. If you guys missed that, I mean, the dude's screaming at his coach before he even gets to the freaking mounds. What a freak. Vintage Max Scherzer. Anybody else just love watching Max Scherzer scream at people and get angry, or is that just me? Just
love getting fired up.
Dude just loves getting angry, getting fired up for no reason. Love it. Waiting for my flowers for what?
Oh, yeah. Barzal goal. Try Goots.
Ooh, it's good.
I'm in.
First one.
I'm in.
No, Goots, you're not him.
Himmy.
You're Himmy.
There we go.
You're Himmy.
That does a trick.
We saw the comment, Adam Scott Wales. Yep. We saw the comment, Goots, you're sharp as a tack. Let's hope that continues this weekend. You don't have the Ravens to make you angry. You only have your bets to make you happy this weekend. Big weekend for you.
The Irish can make me angry, but I'm feeling pretty confident going into Saturday night.
Why does it make me angry when Goots brings up his Irish? Why does that make me angry? It shouldn't. Right?
All I said was I didn't say anything bad there. I don't know why that made you angry. Also, shout out the.
It makes me angry because I'm like, who's the number 1 ranked team in the country right now? Ohio State. I'm going to be an Ohio State fan going forward. I'm going to root for them.
Got it.
Is that cool?
Yep.
Because we could just pick the best teams.
Yeah.
Root for them.
Okay. That's just not what I did, but all right.
Whoever wins the 90 this year, I'm going to be a fan of. Cool.
All right. Move on.
Good. Goots. Hey. 1-1 on the Goots PODs as well. We're not going to make this a 2-hour rip on Goots Fest. Just got one more comment here, then I'll start being nice. Big Pecker Roberts was out last night. I'll say it.
Goots POD again. Brewers ML. Here we go.
That was not Little Pecker Roberts. That was Big Pecker Roberts. Okay, we got to give him some respect. There. Let's hope it's Little Pecker Roberts out there tonight, though.
I gotta get one.
Gentlemen sweep. Goots POD. Brewers ML.
Yes.
Run it back one more time. No bell heard. That's my boy Goots. There we go. All right. W day yesterday. Jovan, you carried. It was always the Bengals to cover. Shout out Joe Flacco, Baltimore legend. I mean, he's still got some gas left in the tank. And for some reason, when I tweeted last night that the Browns should be embarrassed and pissed off watching Joe Flacco go off last night, people were so against that take, which I just don't understand. They should be pissed. And they should be embarrassed for trading him for a bag of chips, to be honest with you. So, no, but Dylan Gabriel's much better. Great call. Shedeur Sanders should be much, much better when he goes in there and starts. I don't get it. They probably prefer Joe Flacco, at least watching how he played the last 2 weeks. I certainly would. They let him go for a bag of chips. 5th-round pick. Give me a break. It's a Super Bowl champion right there. Ridiculous. All right. We got a lot to get to today, folks. New feature here on Twitch. We can see when people hop in the stream back-to-back days. I will. 3 days in a row. 3-stream streak. Shout out I Will getting involved. We appreciate you, Beast. I Will. You're a GOAT. You're in here consistently. And we're going to give you some props for that, my man. We appreciate you.
Goat.
We appreciate you. All right. Jovan, any comments about last night? Or can we leave the past in the past and move on to today?
Yeah, move to today and the weekend.
All right. Yep. Let's move to today, folks. Let's get to the sharp report for today. And we're going to try to keep these sell jobs as crispy and quick as possible. That way we can spend more time talking about the weekend plays. Okay. Pip, 3-stream streak. Pip, you're him. Never change, my man. You're good. All right. Let's get it moving to grooving here. Let me get the under in this baseball game tonight. I'm not touching the Goots POD. Certainly not fading it either. I do certainly lean that way, fading Shohei Goots. I think you do have a chance today, but I'd rather bet this earlier game. Toronto, Seattle. I mean, we're tied up here now, so now it's just, first team to win 2 games here, best of 3 series going forward. So I'm very, very excited to watch this game tonight. And after we've seen a couple overs in a row, Jovan, I believe it's 3 straight overs in the series. I think we get more of a playoff type game in this game tonight, which people might not expect. People really don't think Bryce Miller can go back-to-back and do it again. I think he can. I think this kid is just fucking good and he's clutch. I think he can give us some good innings. And again, I think it'll be more of an opener type situation where if he gets in any sort of trouble early, he's getting yanked in the second inning. They don't give a fuck because the Mariners cannot afford to lose this game. And Jovan, the Mariners are still looking for their first home playoff win in decades. Decades. They're filling up the park. They got Randy Johnson in attendance, and they still cannot get it done. They got to stop the bleeding tonight. They got to cut the bullshit. If Bryce Miller gets in any sort of trouble tonight, they're going to yank him early. It doesn't matter if it's a second inning. If you can get through the first, they will pull him and go to that elite bullpen if needed. And Kevin Gausman, I think, shoves tonight as well. I think it's going to be a low-scoring affair. Kevin Gausman's fantasy score is pretty high as well. So I think he goes out there and absolutely shoves Goots guy Kevin Gausman with a pretty damn good outing. I think the bullpens take care of the rest. And look, a lot of squares on the pop tab on the diamond today. And there are a lot of greened out charts and people taking the hitters on both these teams, but especially Toronto smells like some cake to me. And I'll go ahead and take the under 7 in this game that dropped from 7.5 last night. And I'll back both pitchers. I'll back both bullpens, and I'll fade the bats. And we'll talk a little bit more about this game in a moment. But give me the under 7 in the first MLB game of the night tonight in a tight butthole. Whoever wins this game is probably winning the series type of game. Playoff atmosphere equals low scoring.
Sure. I'm in on that.
Okay.
Low scoring Mariners win.
Swinging around here, dudes. Say that again.
Low scoring Mariners win, hopefully.
Okay. Sure.
I'll be gutted.
Sure.
I'm taking the Cardinals and taking Jeff Brom today. Two teams, both off of a bye week. And I think the team that it helps more and the team that certainly needed it more was Louisville out of the two. Miami was rolling. The defense has been fantastic going into the bye week, and they've obviously been tested a bunch, so you could say they needed it in that factor. But Louisville has been pretty bad to start the season, not record-wise, but if you actually watch them before the loss last game against UVA, they haven't looked good whatsoever. The offense hasn't been as explosive. The offensive line's been bad. The defense, you don't really expect to be all that great, but they haven't been great so far this year. So, like, coming off of that, I think not only do they need to get their shit together in that form with the scheme and everything, but they also needed to get a lot healthier, which the running back room has been decimated, and that's kind of their MO. They had one of, I think, going into the season, one of the best backfields in the ACC, and they've all been hurt, and the offensive line hasn't helped. So, like, now I think after a bye week, they seem to be getting healthier from all the reports. The offensive line is also getting healthier and hopefully better over the course of the bye week as well. I think this is one of the games, there's usually one or two every single year where Jeff Brom pulls out every single one of his tricks against a ranked team and usually works in his favor. This feels like that one, especially being that you're going to have to get the ball quicker out of Miller Moss's hands behind that offensive line with a damn good front seven that's going to be in his face a lot throughout this game. Jeff Brom's going to get in his fucking bag tonight. Respect the Canes. They've been fantastic. The defense is still great, but I think it kind of halted their momentum. I'm interested to see how they respond for the next couple weeks after starting the season as hot as they did, beating every team in front of them, super emotional spots, back to back to back to back. I get a little weak to halt that against I would still say, much better coached team because Mario Cristobal is Mario Cristobal. So we'll see how it works out, but I think this is a close game. This reminds me a lot of the Virginia Tech game from last year. Hopefully it doesn't end the same, but for spread purposes, it could.
Appreciate you bringing that up.
Yep,
really appreciate that. And good play here, plus 13.5. I like a play better in this game. We'll talk about in a moment. But I certainly lean this way with the points and always down to fade Miami, the second best team in the country, maybe even the best team in the country. You fade that team, you're winning 6 or 7 times out of 10. Okay?
Sure.
I'm in. Certainly had the coaching advantage as well. We'll talk about that game more in a second here. Swing it around for me, Gootsy. Let me take you to the ice. Let me talk about Jovan's Lightning, who've looked like shit this season. Yep. A little bit pissed they've caught 10 cents of steam since I put this in there as well. Now they're up to minus 155. Jesus Christ. I was hoping they'd be sitting at minus 145 so I don't look like a freaking jerk making you guys lay juice on this play on the ice. But made you guys lay juice on the ice last night with the Devils ML, and that play was free as moss. So might have to do it again tonight. Give me the Lightning, who've looked pretty bad so far this season. They're coming off a loss to my Caps in that last game. Cannot believe they lost that game. I thought they were sharp in that one. Did not come through. Yeah, they beat the Bruins. Bruins are terrible, apparently. And before that, they had 2 losses to the Devils and the Senators in some high-scoring games. Now we're seeing Tampa Bay, who opened up damn near minus 170 in this game. I thought that was crazy. That sounded the alarms for me, Jovan. That made me want to get involved. Don't care if the line got down to minus 145 earlier today. Of course it did. People betting the 3-1 Red Wings here. Why would they not? A team that's won 3 games in a row, a team that's at home in the Little Caesars Arena, W name, but L team tonight in Detroit. I think you see Detroit lose their first game in their last 4, including this one tonight. And you see the Lightning as a sharp favorite here on the road to get their lick back and finally look good for the first time this season. Give me Jovan's Lightning. They bounce back tonight on the road.
Sure. Would be huge. They fucking blow in Detroit. It seems like almost every time would be a very convenient time to get the monkey off their back.
You know, I love that.
Yeah.
They certainly do. Looks like they did win the last time they were in Detroit, but I don't know about the recent numbers or success before that. So that was back in February. Before that, though, looks like they did lose the last 2 before that. All right. Let's hope they even it up and go 2-2 in their last 4 games there after tonight in the Little Caesars Arena. What a name. Yep. What a name. Has anybody tried the Philly cheesesteak Little Caesars bites? I need to ask. Has anybody tried this? I know you've seen the commercials. I know you've seen them. Has anybody tried them yet? I need to know. I need to know. Not a Little Caesars guy, but those do look kind of good. I'll say it. I'll say it. They might not be steak bites, but they look kind of solid. I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued. Nope. Everybody hates them. Okay.
I might have to give you a shot there, Krabs. Maybe I'll tap it in.
I feel like those might be decent. You know, Little Caesars, their bid is it's cheap and because they make all the shit ahead of time and they just kind of put it in the heater and it sits, which is kind of gross.
Yeah.
But the bites look good. I'll say it. Look, I'm not embarrassed. I'm man enough to admit they look good. Might not be the steak bites, but they might play. All right. Swinging around here, Gootsy. I want to hear Jovan's sell job on the Bill over after an interesting day for Bill. I'm sure you saw that clip from earlier today from Pablo Torres' pods. Unbelievable. Hope you guys in the chat saw that. If you didn't, it's worth the 7-minute watch, the 7-minute hate watch. Jovan, you know how my brain works. That only makes me think you see Bill's squad play better and score more points tonight. As crazy as that sounds.
Yeah, and I've kind of had this weird feeling about this game for a little bit now because you have the very obvious, like, I mean, it's one of the few games other than Louisville, Miami that's on this little standalone slate that you would actually have a name brand team playing in. But you got a team coming east to west, which a lot of these Friday games standalone are somewhat near it. If you've paid attention, fading that narrative has worked a lot better on Saturdays than it has on the standalone game. And for this one specifically, when you have UNC coming off of a bunch of boost performances, sure, same goes for Cal. I want to go with points because JKS was a tale of 2 halves in that Duke game. He was disgusting for the first quarter and a half, and then after that, all fell apart. A lot of the reason for that is because he fucking freaks out whenever he has pressure in his face. The Cal offensive line hasn't been great, but he just doesn't know what to do when he gets pressured. And good thing is, Duke will pressure you. Even SDSU will pressure you. Their front 7 wreaked havoc in that game. UNC won't. So he'll have a clean pocket to sit back and do probably more what we saw the first couple games when he had easier matchups. So I think he's going to sling rock against this defense that we've seen pretty much everybody sling rock on, not named Charlotte or any of the bye games. But I think he's going to have a field day with this team. The problem with it, though, Cal defense is it used to be bend, don't break, and they just force you to make turnovers and make really tough plays. And now they're playing a little more aggressive. So, you can run on them a little bit. You can throw over the top. So, I think this screams the get-right game for Cal's or for UNC's offense against this defense. And I think that's what makes this game weird. I've seen a lot of very sharp PODs on Cal max plays as the spread continues to trickle down towards a UNC, which is weird in and of itself. But I think this game is going to get extremely weird. And I think the way that it's going to happen is UNC is actually going to come out and score points against this Cal defense.
Total is up to 47.5 WCLV.
Yeah.
Hope you locked it in already. I like it. And look, my crabby senses are certainly tingling in this game. Obviously, like Cal, laying 10.5 points to anybody when that opens up. But now I'm looking at UNC catching 2.5 points of steam. And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, the books know something. And I don't know how, I don't know why, I don't know who on this UNC team is going to do it, but they're going to keep this game within the number. And all those Twitter PODs on a Friday night when Twitter PODs are typically cake, like North Texas the other night, even though it was sharp, probably going to find a way to cover. And UNC is probably the play on the spread, but why don't we just take Jovan's over and call it a night? No need to get cute on the sides. 1 play per game.
Yep.
Okay. I'm in. All right, swinging around, Goots. This is probably my favorite play of the day today. My gut's telling me this play is a winner. So keep this one in mind when we get to the squad ride later today, folks. The under 51.5, which I believe is now down to 49.5. Okay. That's actually crazy if you think about it, looking at these two offenses and how powerful they are. And considering how these two teams play against each other. Usually when they face off, I mean, the game's absolutely sore, which I thought was insanely weird. I mean, Jovan, these guys haven't cashed an under in at least since 2018. I haven't even gone back and checked that far, but 4 straight overs when these two teams have played against each other. And again, it doesn't matter much what happened in 2019, 2020 with different coaches, different players. But last year might matter a little bit. That game was a shootout, one of the better games of the season last year, 52-45 in that game last year with a lot of the same players, not for Miami's offense, but at least the same coach there and same schemes. That game soared over the total of 61.5. Jovan, there was almost 100 points in that game. And we know how awesome these two offenses are. You talk about Jeff Brown, great coach. He's getting slurped this week. He's on ESPN talking about how he drives a piece of shit junk car because it humbles him and it barely even runs. And I love that mentality. Blue collar. I wish that guy was the Hokies coach. Great offensive minds. Really good above average QB in Miller Moss, who, let's not lie, when the lights have been bright, though, he's kind of shit down leg a little bit and does not play his best ball. Miami. Everybody talks about Carson Beck. Everybody talks about Tyreek Hill 2.0, their stud receiver, who I just cannot wait to draft on my dynasty team here in a couple of years. He's only a freshman. Unbelievable player. Unbelievable talent on both sides of the sidelines here, Jovan, on offense. But nobody's talking about how elite these defenses have been this season. Not a peep about these defenses. Miami's defense is great. They got a bunch of guys playing on Sundays on that D-line. And Louisville's defense has been surprisingly pretty darn good so far this season, which has been very impressive. And I think certainly gives them a chance to maybe even pull off, an ACC title at some point in the season if they could play Miami again later down the line, right? Maybe they cover and lose by a couple this time around and they face off again later on in the ACC championship and we see their defense show up even more. This Louisville defense deserves more respect. And seeing this total dropping down to 49.5 is absurd. If you think about how this game went last year, if you think about what people are talking about tonight, it's all offense. It's all Carson Beck. It's all Miller Moss. It's all Coach Brom. Not a peep about the defenses. And this total continues to creep down. That's insanely weird. Don't know why, don't know how, but this game is going under. Favorite play of the day tonight. Under 49.5. Don't care how low it goes. The lower it goes, the better. Fuck CLV. The play's still hitting.
I can so get in on that. Defense comes to play. Rusty offenses too, both off a bye.
It's hitting. Love this play. Love this play. All right, Javon's got one more straight bet here for the peeps. How about an over on the ice?
A little over on the ice. Sharks Mammoth, which the Mammoth, if anybody watched that game, which I was watching that for Sergachev purposes, 1 billion power plays, 1 billion really, really good fucking scoring chances too against the Flames. And Cooley kind of stood on his head, which was a little bit of a surprise, but overall they were just pretty, I would say, unlucky in that game. So if there's any team that I want them to bounce back on offensively, it's got to be the Sharks, realistically, which not only a shit defense, as we all know, but really undisciplined defense. And that's been the story for years, especially early on this year. Like, as much as they've just been bad in the back end, if you look at a lot of the goals they've given up, it's not just like bad goaltending. It's not just being, I guess, overpowered by a lot of these lines. Like, it's genuine like miscommunications, guys left wide open in the middle of the net right in front of the crease. It's bad stuff, which is all the stuff that if you're the Mammoth coming off of that sort of game, even though they won 3-1, they could have scored 7 goals in that game, to be honest with you. If there's a situation where I want to back off of that, it's certainly playing the Sharks team, but I do think the Sharks can very much hold their own in this game, which I don't know. I've been waiting for the breakout a lot. I love backing on like these shit teams when they come off of being strangled by a much better defense, which they just did against the Canes. Now they get to kind of let it all out against a Mammoth team that I think is pretty talented and probably a little better than people give them credit for defensively. At least they've been so far. But a team that I think is still privy to getting shocked by a team like the Sharks here offensively with a couple goals. So I think this one will be band for band game script with goals.
All right. Some goals on a Friday night on the ice. Sign me up.
Yep.
Sign me up. Scary Terry ruled out. Is that true, Sonny Dutchie? Golly. Why is nobody talking about it? The guy practices once this week, doesn't practice the rest of the week. He obviously re-injured himself. Probably going to miss a couple weeks now, and CeeDee Lamb comes back. Not the receiver the Commanders were hoping was back this weekend. That's moose shit.
Crazy part is, they're still going to win.
Hope you're right, man. You don't know how bricked up that makes me when I hear you say that. Not a single person on earth out of 8 billion that I'd rather hear that from besides myself than you. Okay? Because I trust and I believe you, and you're right 8 times out of 10. But man, it's an uphill battle. It's going to be an uphill battle. Now, we could probably throw to Goots and Jovan and myself against that Cowboys secondary. Gives me some hope. Yeah. But hey, we'll talk about it in a little bit. We'll talk about that game a little bit. Have a feeling it might be coming up when we get to the weekend preview. Maybe Traylon Burks is our savior. Yep. Sure. That should help. All right.
To put up Hall of Fame numbers, he says.
He probably would. He probably would. JD fantasies this weekend. I mean, yeah, JD's got to go out there and win this game himself, which he's more than capable of doing. We'll talk about it more. Speaking of more, you might want to pick up Chris Moore, like Sonny Dutchie's talking about. Okay? All right. Cortez, you're not wrong, man. That Cowboys defense is bad. You know who else's defense is bad? The Commanders' defense. Okay? A little concerned. But hey, once a month they play great. Maybe this is their time. All right. Let's move. Let's groove. Let's talk about some prize pick squares, folks. Let's talk about some prize pick squares, folks. Had to be done. Had to be done. Had some Jovan inspo for these squares as well. He sent maybe the crabbiest lineup I've ever seen last night in the group chat, and I'm pretty sure it involved these 2 squares. At least one of them. Right?
No, it was both.
Yep. Has to be done. Has to be done. Most popular square on the diamond. Guys, if you fade the most popular square in a category, you are making coins 7 times out of 10. How many more times do I have to say it? How many other different ways do I have to say it? If you did it last night in the NFL, you took TJ Watt, less than 4 tackles and assists. Don't even know if he had 1. Actually, I think he did have 1.
He had 1, and it was like
had 1, was playing hurt, and do shit the whole game. Yep.
1 Mickey Mouse.
The whole game. 1 Mickey Mouse tackle, right? And then the second most popular play was Gab's POD, which for some reason Trent tailed, and that was DK Metcalf, more than half a touchdown demon. And I was screaming from the mountaintops, talking about it on props.cash tweets, saying, please don't take this, please don't take this, please don't take this. It's not hitting. He's not scoring. He's going less than his fantasy. And what do you know? He doesn't score and he goes less than his fantasy. So, guys, if you take the less than on the most popular square on prize picks in the category, you are making coins 70% of the time. Just take it. Just do it. Please. God, you don't land in Vegas. Look out to your right. See the Luxor shiny-ass pyramid with a fucking beam that's probably $1,000 a day to run. You don't see that beam running, Jovan. If plays like that hit, how do you think they pay for that shit? Think that beam is cheap? No. That beam is probably expensive as shit. Take the less thans. Fade the popular squares. Please. It's not that complicated, folks. That's how you make coins. And if you take a gander over to the MLB category, Jovan, you'll notice the most popular square today. Well, actually, the second most popular square today, because the most popular one is the Louisville kicker, which is very, very scary and very green, which makes me like the under even more. You'll see the second most popular square of the day in any sport, and the most popular square by far on the diamond is George Springer, 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs. Jovan, if you had to take a guess, would you guess the chart is green or would you guess the chart is red, Jovan? What do you think?
I mean, I know it's green, obviously.
You want to phone a friend? Are you sure?
I could phone a friend. I could phone Goots.
Goots, what do you think, man? You think the chart is green as Ma or you think it's red as Ma?
Green as Ma, red as Barzell first goal.
Yep, green is the Goots POD last night. There we go. Jovan, if you look at the second most popular square on prize picks on the diamond today, you want to take a guess at what that one is?
What is that one?
George Springer, 1.5 total bases, demon. You're telling me there's a dual-wheeled combo, George Springer squares up there, when the guy hit a leadoff home run against the same pitcher the last time he faced him, Jovan. You think they're giving out a freebie? No. They're not. It's going to be walk central for 2 guys today, Vladdy and George Springer. Maybe not in the first at-bat. You might not want to walk him in that first at-bat of the game, sure. but I'm willing to bet after he had a leadoff home run against the same pitcher the last time he pitched, you're probably not going to see another leadoff home run again today. If you do, I will happily tip cap. Get him out in that first at bat. The square hits with ease, and then walk him the rest of the game, Jovan. Less than 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs. Most popular square on the diamond. Fade it and make coins. It's not that hard. It's not that hard. Godsent, I'll do a wheel spin if this doesn't hit. If you do a wheel spin if the Eagles lose outright this weekend. Deal? Deal, Godsent? No way the Eagles lose 3 games in a row, right? Is that a deal? Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat. We'll happily do a wheel spin if you agree to wheel spin if the Eagles lose outright. You let me know. You let me know. Okay? You can't fade people that see beach balls in the playoffs. I've learned in years past. Big Cheesy, I've been doing it all playoffs and making coins. What are you talking about? Take the lesson on this. Make coins. It's not rocket science. Okay? Dylan Raiola. Jovan. Dylan Raiola has thrown plenty of picks last couple of games. Very green chart here as well. He threw 3 picks against your Terps. Who would have thought we'd be calling them Jovan's Terps with me and Goots on this show as well? Hilarious.
Furious.
Love it. Goots pissed. Goots stomping his feet right now. Dylan Raiola threw 3 picks, Jovan, against the Terps. By the way, little fun fact. Did you know the Terps have the most interceptions per game in college football this season? Number 1.
Oh, yeah.
Number 1.
Defense is
crazy.
good.
They got a good secondary, man. Good secondary. A lot of talent in the DMV. Good to see them finally utilizing it and getting kids to actually commit there. Dylan Raiola coming off of a 3-pick game. Jovan, don't care who the QB is. Don't care who you're playing. If you're a college football Division I quarterback and you're coming off of throwing 3 interceptions in a game, I'm taking you not to throw a pick the next game, and I'll tip cap if it loses. And that type of mentality is going to make you coins.
For you, Krabs.
Do you?
He ain't the only one up with 3 picks coming off.
I'm pretty pissed you don't have that square up. I'm not going to lie. I was going to bring that up. I'm pretty pissed. I thought you were going to put that in your sharp report, man.
I'm taking it. I just didn't want to go dual wheel cow squares.
I wouldn't have minded it. I would not have minded it. Okay. Meat on tape, Krabs, he was confident in this as the 2 under pick. No gains bets. The 2 under pick was the play of the millennium. Hope you took it. Those don't grow on trees. We might not see another one of those ever again. Okay. Do I love this play? Yes. Is he throwing a pick? No. Should you take this square? Yes. Take the less than pick for Dylan Raiola, who I'm assuming was sat down this week, talked to by his OC and said, buddy, you can't throw 6 picks in our last 3 games. If you do, we're not going to be ranked anymore after this week against a stingy Minnesota defense. But Minnesota's defense, much better on that D-line, much better at stopping the run. Dylan Raiola, not worried about him. He's a stud at this point. I'm done doubting him, and he's going to bounce back, and he's not going to throw a pick. If he does, this team is in serious trouble to lose outright on the road as -7 favorites. So his job is to keep the ball secure in this game. If they could do that, if they could follow that game script, I like Nebraska's chances here. And it's really the only chance they have to cover that number. So you guys better hope, you -7 bettors better hope he does not throw a pick in this game. Give me the less than half a pick after he threw a 3-piece against the Terps last week. He ain't doing that again. He ain't even throwing 1.
Yep. And perfect segue, because you know how I think he's going to do it, keeping the ball under control, but there's also another guy on that offense that's going to bust. And that's Emmett Johnson. He's in my squares. Taking his fantasy score. You know where he's from, Krabs?
Maryland?
Richfield, Minnesota, which is a shorter drive from Richfield to the campus of University of Minnesota than it is from my house to the fucking Bookit office. So I can tell you right now, he's going to be fired up tonight, playing for the hometown team, or playing against the hometown team. But he's going to splooge. And I think a lot of the reason why that game was weird and back and forth between the Terps and Nebraska is because Emmett Johnson was dominating. They stopped giving him the ball. And then they threw more on early downs than they probably should have, put them in 2nd and long, 3rd and longs, and then they ended up getting the stops and turnovers the Terps did to make that game close and make that game weird. So now, what do you do after that? You give your guy the fucking ball. And you know what was weird to me, because the Terps give up a lot of short passes to the wide receivers or like swing screens to the running backs or whatever it may be. They didn't utilize that really at all in that game. I think he had 2 catches, which if you've watched Emmett Johnson, you know he can get as much involvement as they really choose in the pass game. He's going to be involved in every sort of facet today, not just for the obvious like home team revenge narrative, but I think they want to control not only the run game, which Minnesota's run defense has been fucking terrible all year, but they also want to get him involved in the pass game and keep the ball out of harm's way if you're Dylan Raiola in that offense. So I think everything revolves around Emmett Johnson today. Not a hot topic. That's usually the case how this works, but against the Terps, that was not the case, which is why, I mean, they should have won that game, to be honest, by 3 touchdowns, and they let them back in the game because they stopped giving him the ball for what reason, I don't know. I was enjoying it as the time as a Maryland better, even though they didn't win the game. They covered. Now you get back to it. And honestly, I think the touchdown they're laying is a little fat too. This is probably why.
Okay.
And then Tron Grizel had to be up here. When JKS has time in the pocket, they like to move him around. Some of the times it's to avoid pressure, but they like to move him around and give like these deep concepts so you can throw it down the field because that's what he loves to do. He hasn't had time to do that as of the last handful of games, which is why he's looked really, really rough. But when he does have time, he throws the ball downfield, and the guy he goes to is Tron Grizel. When he doesn't have time, it's a lot of Mason Minnie short yardage. It's a lot of Jacob DeJesus, like in passes that are behind the line of scrimmage or 5 yards or shorter. Tron Grizel is like the deep guy who's also like the veteran guy who's been there for a while. I think the only pass catcher that's been a Cal veteran. He was there for the Mendoza year last year, but he's the guy who's been there, and he's the guy that's a deep threat. And against this shit defense that's given up plenty of deep shots to whoever wants them, he's going to have time today to throw, which is why Tron is snapping.
3rd time we've taken Tron this season. I think you're 1-1 so far. Let's change that. Let's go 2-1.
I don't know if I've taken him twice, have I?
I think he's been on a meat sheet, not sharp report. Meat sheets. You're a big Tron fan, is what I'm trying to say. You're a big Tron guy.
Yeah, he's Mr. Cal there because everybody's a fucking transfer except him. He's actually stayed.
He's good. I respect that.
He's like his most reliable option.
Maybe he has a little Terry McLaurin in him, leader.
A little bit, yeah.
Love it. And Emmett Johnson, I'm hearing in the chat, Jovan, was initially committed here to, or wanted to commit to Minnesota, the chat's saying, but never got an offer.
Yeah, I saw that floating around Twitter today.
If that's true,
the exact story, but he'll be fine.
You like that square even more, man.
Yeah.
Can we give it up for Coach Siggs being loyal and not being money hungry for a ship program? TM Sharp, he's getting paid top 5 coaching money. What are you talking about? Not saying he's not loyal, but he's getting paid top 5 in college football now. So why the hell would he go anywhere else? Why would he go anywhere else?
Yeah,
people are absolutely paid.
I'm glad because Indiana locking him down is great for college football because it's
smart.
It's one of the only equitable things. But people are acting like he's a fucking saint dying on a sword. He's getting paid fat coin.
Top 5.
And he's also has been every single time using all of these coaching openings to get more money. It's like it's not like it's a strategic move from him. He's not just saying, "Let me take a hometown discount."
Yeah, people forget he was at JMU not too long ago.
Yeah, people do forget that.
Saw a tweet he was making $400K at JMU like 5 years ago. Now he's making what, $13 million a year?
There's no way this is Trent saying what president was Abe Lincoln.
No, it's me. Abe Lincoln was on his cup. I was testing Krabs ball knowledge real quick.
Nah.
17 Goots?
Nope, 16.
16.
Fuck, man. This is a sick cup. Not a lot of people.
It was 17 now.
Goots, I don't really know, and I don't really care.
Yeah.
Who was it?
I'll stop. Andrew.
Who was it, Goots?
Okay. Hey,
not a lot of people have these cups. I'll say it. Jovan, you gotta know a guy to get these cups.
1-on-1 Nats Cup?
Or you gotta go to a Nats game and just pay $20.
Super Factor?
Yep. Sucker for a good Nats Cup. All right. W Squares, Jovan, I already locked in the Sharp Report 4-man. Drop the link again for the people in the chat. Thank you, Goots, for dropping it in the YouTube chat as well. YouTube chat, can I hear you scream? YouTube chat, not active enough today. A little more active than yesterday, but I know you guys got more energy in you. Imagine a Jake Irvin Cup. Oh, my goodness. That would hit.
Horrible cup.
That would hit. Maybe a DJ Hurst Cup. Wow. You're going to see those this season.
No.
That's for sure. I think I'm most excited on the diamond for DJ Hurst bounce back. Yep.
It's a crazy comment, Krabs.
You're going to see. You're going to learn DJ Hers.
I'm
You're all
hoping
going to get
I do.
reminded.
It's your guy.
You're all going to get reminded. Okay, Quinn F. Goo Goo Gaga. I don't know why that makes me laugh. That's maybe the weirdest comment I've seen ever in the YouTube chat. Congratulations. I don't know why that makes me smile. That's maybe the weirdest thing ever. Okay. Rhino Fusion getting involved in the Twitch chat. What's up, gents? What's up, gents? How we doing, Rhino Fusion? Sure he can. What would you take for Emmett if you didn't have prize picks?
Russian wreck.
Russian receiving yards. There you go, AB. There you go, AB. What do you know about the Nate Lowe Cup? No, Nate Lowe Cup would be burned.
So wait, do they actually have like players on Nats Cups?
No, they just have the presidents.
Oh, it's soft.
Hence why I have a fucking Abe Lincoln Cup, dude.
I was gonna say, dude, that would have been sick. I know the Rays. I mean, they're the Rays, but never have players cups, but the Bucks do. I have the whole Bucks roster from past 10 years in cups.
W.org.
W.org, dude.
Yeah, and they still can't beat the Commanders in the playoffs. All right, let's move. Let's groove. Might be about that time, Jovan. Yep, I still remember it. I'm going to remind you until they do something different. It's one of the few W's I have over you.
Our practice squad is leading the NFC. I can handle the chirp from last year.
I know. You should be pretty fucking happy right now looking at that team and your MVP QB. So, yep. Let's move. Let's groove. It's about that time, chat. Do me a favor. Get hyped. Let me hear you scream. Let's jump into the college football weekend preview, folks. Can we get some W Gootses going in the chat? I need to see some more W Gootses lurking in the chat. W producer, W Goots, who's been grinding every single day for about as long as I can remember. W Goots, drop them. I want to see him in the chat. W Goots, W Goots, W Goots, W Goots. We even got a W Lamar in there. How about that one, Goots? I probably just made his fucking day. That's where Jovan draws the line. Okay.
Shout out Lamar.
Okay. Even a W Gunner in there. All right.
That's one we can't give him.
That's crazy. That's crazy. All right. Let's talk about some snooze fests. Let's talk about some unders. Jovan, do we know if Goots guy / Rab guy Levitt is even playing this weekend?
Yeah. Seems like it.
Good. I prefer that. You know why? Because I'm really good at making money fading QBs coming back from an injury. Just like we did with the under in the Oklahoma-Texas game last week with Mateer. Jovan, this gives me the same exact vibes, which is a great sign for this under as this total continues to trickle down. Wouldn't you think the total will be moving up with the news of Levitt probably playing in this game instead of Johnny Sins? Maybe be moving up from 53.5. No, Jovan, it's actually moving down to 51.5, which I thought was pretty freaking weird. So here's what's going to happen. Okay, Arizona State's going to have a lot of excitement, a lot of energy in this game because their QB, their moxie, their aura, their mojo guy is back, right? So they're going to be hyped up, and that's going to affect both sides of the ball, offense and defense. It's not going to help their offense because their QB is going to be playing at 50% health here, but it's going to help their defense show up in this game and at least be feasible against a really good Texas Tech offense that's been a machine so far this season. By the way, covering machine as well. Thought about just taking Arizona State on the spread in this game, but again, do not like taking the Sun Devils very much. Very, very trendy over the last couple of years, but I certainly lean that way, especially with the QB coming back from an injury against 6-0 against the spread Texas Tech. But instead, I wanted to go with the under here, Jovan, after Texas Tech just gave up 42 points to Kansas. Or no, they just scored 42 points against Kansas in their last game. Excuse me. I'm not seeing a big-time splooge fest here against an Arizona State defense. I think they're going to take a hair lightly. And at some points, this Texas Tech offense has to come back down to earth after they've been probably the most consistent and probably the best-looking offense overall in the country. So to me, it smells like a perfect time to fade when they got to go on the roads and maybe they're taking a little banged-up Levitt lightly. They're taking a Sun Devils team that's taking a step back a little lightly. And I do think the Sun Devils defense gets going here a little bit after they just got embarrassed and gave up 42 points in their last game to Utah. So good time to buy low on the Sun Devils defense. And I love seeing this total dropping down to 53.5. Looks like one of the sharper totals of the weekend. And I'm locking this puppy in before it gets even lower. Love taking unders in games with QBs coming back from injury. Had really good success with this over the years. Literally cashed a bet like that last weekend. Let's run it back again.
Sure. Speaking of Utah and what they did to Jeff Sims in Arizona State, putting up
Yep.
42 points, I don't think they're doing that again. Holy War, I think, is going to be filled with defense, which part of it, I guess half of it, is because of their defense. And BYU has weirdly been like as good as LJ Martin's been. Like the pass game has been super explosive, like which is surprising because I don't think Bear Bachmeier is all that great of a quarterback. I think he's a decent playmaker, but he's realistically been helped by a lot of yak, I guess. But they've been producing big time plays in the pass game with just the longest plays in BYU history, back to back to back. It seems it's going to be tough to do against this Utah defense for a couple of different reasons. This time, Bear Bachmeier has been good, kind of dicing up zone and finding a lot of slants that somehow end up getting taken for 60 yards to the crib every single time, it seems. But you're going to get manned up on a tough Utah defense. That's going to give you hell. And not only that, but you're going to be getting physical with a lot of that offensive line, which I think that BYU offensive line is a lot worse than you're going to see or than you have seen so far. They've just played a lot of super weak fronts, to be honest with you. So now you get a Utah defense in front seven that's really going to come at him, and there's going to be a lot of pressure on Bear Bachmeier. When he has been under pressure, which hasn't been very much, he hasn't looked all that good. So I think this is a perfect regression spot for him. And then I think the Utah offense is just going to tick, 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 book of chew. Same thing on the other side. Like the run game hasn't been fantastic for Utah, and I just think you're still waiting to see them hit their footing, especially from like Devin Dampier finding consistency in his legs. But now you get a front that I think is a lot worse than they've getting credit for because they haven't played many challenging teams in the trenches. So now you get one. I think the Utah offensive line is going to dominate, drive milk tick this entire game, which is probably why they're minus 3.5 on the road in Provo.
Yep. Kind of like Utah in this game as well. So you're with me there, or I mean, you're not a big Utah guy, but I mean, minus 3.5 on the road there in that spot against a team.
No, I'm probably with you
them.
there.
Kind of weird, right? Kind of weird. All right, nice play there. Nice snooze fest in the Holy War. I'm in. Love this play from you. Good time to take a prime time under. Little snooze fest out there in Mormon country. All right. W plays, W unders. I'm hearing there's some 48.5s aloof as well. Good. Fuck CLV. Keep on moving down. Let's see that puppy get low. All right. Let's talk about some overs. We got team comeback in the YouTube chat. I'm boots on ground for Oregon versus Rutgers. First time getting to watch my Ducks in person. I'm hammering the minus 17.5 in a get right game for the Ducks. Well, you might want to make that a two-piece team comeback because I like points in the Oregon and Rutgers game. And, you know, hilarious, as big of an over-hater as I am, Jovan, as we get a subby coming in from Austin Rendies. Austin Rendies, you're good, my man. We appreciate you, Beast. As big of an over-hater as I am, I'm low-key heating up with these shootouts here in college football. I've hit 2 in a row. So let's make it 3 in a row. Let's cash another over here in what I expect to be a shootout. I do think we're going to see plenty of points in this Oregon game as Oregon tries to bounce back, and looks like this total might be up to 61.5 some places as well. Oregon coming off their first loss of the season, Jovan, in that embarrassing loss to Signetti, which is now going to result in me probably having to shave my fucking head. So Oregon, not a big fan of Dante Moore, but I do think we see Dante Moore's best in a bounce back game on the road here against a Rutgers defense that is bad. Rutgers just gave up 38 points in their last game to Washington. They gave up 38 points to Iowa. If you can give up 38 points to Iowa, imagine how many points you can give up to a pissed off Oregon team and Dan Lanning. So that's scary for Rutgers, a team that I was relatively high on this season, a team I have their win total over on, Jovan. And I do like Kaliamanis. I said that before the season and people laughed at me. Kaliamanis has been a little bit better than people would give him credit for this season so far. And I think this Rutgers team can put up a couple touchdowns against Oregon. There's some prize pick squares up there that make me think we do get some points from Rutgers. The kicker squares are kind of weird. And I want to pull them up and show you guys here real quick. The Jay Patel kid has a 2.5 PAT made square after not doing much last week, which is a good sign against Oregon, a top 10 team in the country. And then the square that really stuck out to me in this game, Jovan, is this Atticus Sappington. Also, what a name. Atticus Sappington, the Oregon kicker. He's got a 4.5 PATs made square. 4.5 PATs made squares don't grow on trees, folks. Usually they're 3.5, maybe 2.5, shit, sometimes even 1.5. And what have they done recently? What has Atticus done recently to deserve a 4.5 PATs made? What has Oregon's offense done recently to deserve an Atticus 4.5 PATs made? That's a rare more than square that I like. Put that one in your back pocket. I think pretty telling about what Oregon's going to do against an atrocious defense in Rutgers on the road in a revenge spot. Ducks drop a 50-piece in this one. Rutgers scores twice. This game soars over.
Sure. Looks like we got some subbies from Dragon Slayer in chat. A 5-piece.
Yep. We got a 5-unit sub whale coming in from Dragon Slayer. 5-unit sub whale. 5-unit sub whale. Yep. W's. All right. Tell me about this over in Ole Miss and Georgia.
Big game over, Krabs. I think this is the Ole Miss over in a big game that people were searching for against LSU. And you know how Lane Kiffin's been eerily quiet, it seems, outside of the one comment all throughout this week. He was talking a shit ton against LSU, which that was a home game. You know what I think that is, Krabs, which we talked about this a little bit. Last game, crazy letdown spot, or not letdown spot, look ahead spot. Washington State came cross country, somehow kept that game close, almost won. The game plan looked vanilla. It looked like they were keeping shit close to the vest. This Georgia defense that not only like the secondary does not look like a Kirby Smart secondary. We've seen that time and time again. Even in the game, they came back and won and looked good. But they also don't get much of a pass rush. And the thing that LSU had going for them in that game, because even though Ole Miss won, I mean, they held them to 20-something points. Like it's not the most dominant offensive attack for them, but they were getting pressure on Chambliss, at least forcing him to make quicker decisions than he wanted to. Joey Aguilar's had all day against Georgia, and it's been much of the same for a lot of the other teams they've faced. If you're going to give Lane Kiffin that scheme all the time in the world, I'm sure they'll try to bring pressure. Kirby's not a stupid coach, but what does that do? That overexposes the back end of your defense that already has been exposed 75 times this season. That hasn't looked good at all. I think Lane Kiffin's licking his chops, and this, similar to like this is the Jeff Brom game, I think, for him to pull out all the stops. Lane, he didn't really have to do that against LSU. This feels like the game, especially when I think the tweets floating around that top 10 team comes into Sanford Stadium, Kirby's undefeated ATS, yada, yada, yada. I think Ole Miss comes in and has a legitimate shot to win this game, and I do think it's going to come with points because Gunnar Stockton hasn't looked great in the past game. Really, all season outside of the Georgia game, I think this is the time where they get it going, and they force Ole Miss and Lane to go band for band, back and forth in this game script.
Well, you might have sold me with the sell job. That was an elite sell job. I'm a little bit worried about Trinidad coming back down to earth here. The SCS transfer who's just been playing out of his fucking mind. And I was kind of excited for a little Battle Berg in this game. I thought we were going to maybe see a Ole Miss +7. And I was ready to talk my shit here. I do think Georgia rolls in this game. But let's hope that helps out your over. Jovan, I thought this would be a rare maybe Battle Berg W for the kid here. I'm a little bit worried about Trinidad. But there's also some conflicting thoughts in my brain. Ole Miss has not had an over since coach responded to Mikey Overs on X. A lot of unders, a lot of defense being played in the last couple games for Ole Miss. So we're due for a Lane Kiffin splooge fest. You got that going for you. And Georgia's coming off of maybe the biggest underscript we've seen in a while there in that 20-10 nail biter where they're lucky they even scored 20 points in that game. So good time to bet the over there.
Also, football gods thing, whether it's on Auburn's side or Georgia's, Georgia didn't deserve to win and cover that game.
Yep.
So what's going to happen this week? I think, you know what I think, Krabs? I think the time to fade Chambliss is next week. I think it's next week. I don't know if they have a bye, but I think he's going to go to Oklahoma and get fucking nuts.
Okay. They're definitely not covering both those games in a row on the Reds, respectfully.
No.
So maybe it's the following week, and let's keep that in mind because I'm probably not going to bet Georgia in this one. I'd probably rather just take your over after hearing that sell job in this game. Okay. All right. Let's move. Let's groove. Let's talk about some favorites, I believe. I think I found a new shiny toy here, Jovan, in college football. Air Force. Okay. You guys know I'm typically a Navy guy. Okay. Beat Army. Always. You won't see me fucking backing them, although sometimes I actually do. I just don't like talking about it. And sometimes I fade Army because it's always beat Army. But becoming an Air Force guy as well, Jovan, I've grown fond of their offense. They've got a stud QB who gets no respect, no love. Liam Scarza, this kid can huck it. This kid can run. This kid can do it all. This kid is extremely talented. I watched the entirety of the Navy game, and he went back and forth against, with Navy in a really good game. I know Navy's defense is not as good as they were last year, probably, but I mean, the kid is a beast on the ground. He could throw it again in the air as well. And then last week against UNLV, they scored 1,000,000 points too in that game. I know UNLV's defense is nothing to write home about either, but I'm impressed by this Air Force offense, to say the least. They've got Gronk in Bruin Fleshman. If you guys haven't seen this kid, he's a freaking stud, and he's been a touchdown machine. He scored a touchdown, I believe, in the last 4 games in a row, and this kid is really good. So Air Force has some weapons, which you really would not expect, and I certainly would not have expected to say that. So they've also got some interesting squares already up on Prize Picks, which I did not expect for an Air Force team, where they got one of their fullbacks, Dylan Carson, up for a touchdown, and he's only had 1 so far this season. So that's a good sign, I think, for him finding pay dirt. And I want to fade this Wyoming team that's coming off a big-time performance in their last game. Could be a good time to sell high on a Wyoming team that's just simply not good, Jovan. I think Air Force, this game simply means more for them, coming off that embarrassing loss to UNLV in their last game. And let's not forget, this Air Force team has lost 5 games in a row. So although I'm making it seem like they're this great offense and great team, they do have a great offense. I mean, they've scored 48, 31, 35, 37, and 30 in their last 5 games. It's the defense that can't stop the parked car. Well, Jovan, good thing they have Wyoming coming into town, and that offense sucks ass. So they're coming off their best performance of the season so far, where they dropped 35 points in their last game. Jovan, they're not going to score 30-plus points the rest of the season, not with Caden Anderson in at QB, respectfully. And I honestly chalk up that performance to San Jose State's atrocious defense, not Wyoming's offense. So Air Force's defense is not worse than San Jose State's, and I certainly see Air Force scoring more than 35 points in this game. I think they score more like 45 points against this Wyoming defense that's simply not good on the roads. If this game was at Wyoming, we'd be talking a different story here. But Air Force, a team starving for a win, not a better team in college football, on a 5-game losing streak. I'll tell you that much. And if you have not watched this Air Force offense, could be a good time to tune in this weekend when they're absolutely mucking up Wyoming and winning this game by double digits. I'll lay the 4.
Shout out Air Force. Might be the greatest offense of all time.
Yeah, the greatest offense of all time to lose 5 games in a row and be 1-5. They are. I'm telling you right now, they're fun to watch, man. If they could just get a couple stops, Jovan, and against Wyoming, I'm telling you right now, they can. They're winning this game by double digits. Okay?
Yeah. That'd be good.
Oh, good. Debo Samuel's not playing either this weekend. Jesus fucking Christ.
Huh.
Talk about North Texas, man. I don't know what's worse. Bet North Texas again after last week, or hearing Debo's not playing as well.
God, yeah, well, that's half of the battle, Krabs. Half of what makes it so beautiful that we get. The first time we heard all about North Texas last week, 75% of the people betting on North Texas had never watched the game before, nor did they know who Drew Mestamaker was. So now that's their only impression of them. And now they get to face a UTSA team that sneaky has been one of the more disappointing teams in all of college football from what we were hearing over the offseason. Because I love Owen McCown as much as the next guy, but they have the same problems, a lot of them, that they had last season. The defense is a little better, but guess what? They still can't play on the fucking road. They went up.
Yep.
Nobody talk about it. They lost to Temple in Philly. I think it was 2 weeks ago. But that's a lot of the same stuff that happened last year. They could not win on the road. They're great in San Antonio, but when they go on the road, it turns into absolute moose knuck. And now, not a far trip, but you go against a UNT team that's searching for revenge after last week. Drew Mestamaker had a couple of baffling turnovers against a really good defense, the best by far they're going to face all throughout the American. And now you're going to get a bounce back, because as good as this UTSA offense can be, and they probably will be, like the total of the game is like 66.5. But this offense, I think, is not very good. And I think people are still grasping to that, which is why they're still a pretty popular dog, pretty trendy dog. It's been on the feed quite a bit, them winning outright. I don't think it's going to happen. I think you get a bounce back game from Drew Mestamaker against an improved defense, but one that doesn't really move me at all. And then I don't think this offense for Owen McCown, or with Owen McCown, is going to do very much against this UNT defense, which is, relatively speaking, they can put up 4 touchdowns and still in this game might not be even close to enough with the type of scoring that's probably going to rival some of what we saw in the USF UNT game. But I think this is a perfect bounce back spot for Mestamaker and co. when they lay some duck.
Okay, I'm in. I still cannot get over the cinema they put up during that game last Friday, talking about Mestamaker and the great story and the QB whisperer that keeps finding the best QBs of all time. And next thing you know, Mestamaker throws 3 straight picks pretty much on 3 straight drives.
And they were like, they weren't even just like picks. They were god-awful picks. They're some of the worst.
He played maybe the worst half of football after that whole bit that I've ever watched. So, yeah, good time to back UNT. When everybody else is off of them and so out on them, let's hop right back in. Did not hear no bell. Did not hear no bell. Okay? I'm in. Let's keep moving and grooving. Would love to hear a Goots College Football POD for Saturday if you want to start working on that, my man. While we keep going over these plays, why don't you take us to the upset alerts? Oh, Jovan. Yeah.
I'm secretly hoping you cash this, Krabs, because the last thing I want with me, I'm going into next week nuking Memphis. If they finally lose a game ATS, I'd be so satisfied.
Oh, I bet you would. I didn't hear no bell. I'm literally Randy Marsh from South Park after he's getting beat up by a dude in the stands in that meme. I did not hear no bell, no Matt Gauthier. I've actually never heard a bell. I've never heard a bell, and I certainly have not heard one with this fucking UAB team and this undefeated against the spread Memphis Tigers team that I will not let win. I don't care if I got to go down with the damn ship. I don't care if I got to double down in Martingale and put 2 units on this next week, 5 units on it the next week. I don't give a hoot. Probably not going to take that long, though, Jovan. I think it ends this week against UAB. And let's not act like I wouldn't be on this play anyways. It doesn't matter who UAB is playing in this game. Reality check for the people in the chat that hate this play. This is a system play. System play. Coach got fired. You bet that team. You make money. Just like I'm going to do with Penn State, unfortunately, this weekend. You pinch your nose. You lock in the team that fired their coach, and you make coins. It's a 3-step process. Yeah, RIP Coach Dilfer. Luckily, they still got Jalen Kitna, John Kitna's son. This kid can huck it a hair. And he's going to be hucking it this weekend against Memphis in the sleepiest spot maybe of the college football season. You've got Group of 4 powerhouse Memphis, undefeated against the spread. They have destroyed every single team in their path, Jovan. They look like a shoe-in right now to make the college football playoffs. And I hope I'm jinxing it respectfully and getting Navy in this puppy. Hate to say it, but I am. And I've got that game circled. We might need to go to that game. I'll say it. We might need to go to Memphis.
Is it at Navy? Or is it at Memphis?
I think it's at Memphis.
I was going to say.
I think it's in Memphis.
Go to Memphis?
Not really. I don't think anybody's ever said that. But, we might have to. Might not have a choice here, Jovan. UAB is atrocious. UAB is 2-4. UAB is coming off of 3 straight L's. UAB is 2-4 against the spreads. UAB just lost to FAU, who's also terrible, and gave up 53 points. Jovan. System play. I did not hear no bell. Give me Kitna. Give me UAB. Give me the points. You bet on a team that just fired their coach. You make coins 8 times out of 10. System play. Don't care who they're playing. They could be playing the 2014 Commanders when they're looking as good as they did against the Lions and Trent has a whale on them. They could be looking that good. I don't care. It doesn't matter. System play. You take this, you make coins more often than not. It is what it is.
Yeah. Has to be done. I'll tip the cap to it.
Has to be done.
I'm hoping you win. I'm hoping you do.
So am I. All right, man. Let's hear why the Terps are winning outright against UCLA this weekend, or at least covering the spread.
It was a cute couple of games for the UCLA Bruins, Krabs. 2 big wins as huge dogs. Obviously, the Penn State one, much bigger. I think 2 touchdowns are more bigger than what ended up being the Michigan State one. But now they're crowning, they're crowning the wrong guy, which is funny. They're crowning Jerry. He's not even the interim coach. He's just the OC, but separate conversation. Those 2 teams that they played, Michigan State, one of the worst defenses, I think, in all of the Big Ten, and Penn State is clearly in shambles, as we know, fully checked out at that point. So what do those 2 wins mean? Jack fucking shit. Now you get not only a team that I think is better than the current state of those 2 teams, but you get a damn good defense. We just talked about what Maryland's defense did against Dylan Raiola. Sure, he gave up a handful of points. A lot of that was to Emmett Johnson, but they forced turnovers. They forced havoc, and the front seven's good. What has UCLA had as a crutch these 2 games where they've had their resurgence? Their offensive line has been dominating. The run game's been fine. They're giving Nico plenty of room to operate. Part of that's because the Penn State front 7 has been nowhere to be found for weeks now. They've been fucking terrible, and Michigan State very obviously has done a lot of the same and been 75 times worse. Maryland defense is going to put them in shambles through this game. This is not going to be a game where Nico has all day to sit back there and operate. He's throwing a butt-naked wide receivers across the middle of the field. It's not the way Maryland's defense plays. They're going to get after him. They're going to send pressure. That's exactly what they've done all throughout this year. If you want to take shots over the top, which Nico really hasn't done for a majority of this run before or after they became good, go ahead and take them because those don't work. So like now you had your 2 wins as huge dogs. Now you're the favorite. The hunters become the hunted. Maryland's going out west, and they're going to end this little cute party.
Hope you're right. Rooting for Malik, and I'm rooting for the Terps. And after back-to-back games that the Terps should have won, should still be undefeated, should be ranked, I'm assuming Coach has not gotten some great sleep this week, and people are once again talking about him being on the hot seat, which I think is absolutely ridiculous when this is still the best team they've had in my lifetime, and people are finally caring about this team for once. Could not be less on the hot seat with the number 1 recruit in the country coming there next year, in my opinion. But that's a combo for another time. Terps plus 3.5. Don't know if I'm seeing 3.5s anymore. I think I'm seeing more 3s and 2.5s. But I mean, me personally, I think they either win this game outright or it's not going to be close. So certainly lean the former as well. And I like the Terps here with you. And I'm ready to fade the blonde-haired fuck who's getting all the credit and all the respect when he's not even the head coach on UCLA. So I'm in. I'm in. I'm in. All right, let's move. Let's groove. Talked a lot about not hearing no bells so far on this segment. I got one more for you. DJ Fitz, one more. Let's move on to our meat. Let me take you to Northwestern. Let me take you to Chicago. The battle between the nerds, the engineers of Purdue versus the lawyers of Northwestern. It's a big, important game for rich, smart people. And I'll take Purdue once again, Jovan, here after 4 straight L's. I did not hear no bell. And after 4 straight games where they pretty much look like shit, I guess they did meme on backdoor cover against USC 4 weeks ago. But since then, it's been pretty freaking ugly, including a loss outright against Minnesota in their last game as well. So Northwestern, on the other hand, and Preston Stone, on the other hand, cannot believe I'm saying this, but they've looked pretty good the last couple of weeks. They've ripped off 4 wins in their last 5, 3 wins in a row. They've covered 4 of their last 5 games. And the spread opened up kind of fat, -6.5, which is one of the baitiest numbers in all the land, by the way, right up there with -2.5. So now the spread's down to 3. There is 0 reason on earth this spread should be down to 3. 0 reason. Should be moving the other way. Well, it's not. And Purdue, once again, looks like one of the sharper plays of the weekend. I'll back Devin Mockabee. And I'll back my guy, Ryan Brown, who has not been great the last couple of weeks, but we've seen him perform at times. We saw him huck it a little bit against Notre Dame. It's not like this Northwestern defense is anything to write home about. I think Purdue puts up a big number here offensively and wins this game outright, but at the minimum keeps it within a field goal. I'll back the Boilermakers. Favorite play in college football this weekend. Looks like the sharpest dog of the weekend on the road against red-hot Northwestern, 4-2. 2-4 Purdue is keeping this game within a field goal and stops the bleeding after 4 straight outs.
Wow. Fading Coach Nuck.
It's not business, or it's not personal, just business, Jovan. It's not personal, just business.
As it should be. As it should be.
Okay.
Shout out Mike Jack. I have to take him this week in the lineup.
Sure.
Like their only receiver, it seems. He gets every look.
Yeah, or Nitro Tuggle.
Yeah, great name.
Might have the best names in a receiving core in the entire college football landscape. Yep.
Should I
Nitro
squeak?
Tuggle, Michael Jackson. What's up, Goots?
Should I squeak my POD in here before Jovan? The
Love
chat
it.
asked. It's a square.
Sure.
And it isn't a Notre Dame game, but there's some logic behind it. Every week it seems it's one of the receivers has a big game and it always goes back and forth and varies. Last week it was Will Pauling, and Eli Reardon's been mucking lately. I think Malachi Fields has a game. He's up for 54.5 receiving yards square. I think he goes up. I think he has a good game.
That could be Ma.
So many things just pissed me off.
So many.
You're taking the UVA kid who transfers in conference.
Sure am.
To Notre Dame. You're taking a guy on your own team as your Goots POD.
Yep.
And I want to make this perfectly clear. Whoever's the 90 champ this year, I'm becoming a fan of. And I'm rooting for them harder next season than I ever have in my life. I'll say it.
No.
Got it.
Yep.
No.
I mean, I love Utah, but you're already on that under. I mean, like, I'm trying to get some diversity here.
What do you mean by that?
You know what I mean?
Take it as yards.
Yards, yeah. And then Faison's up for a normal TD square, which I think is weird. He's the only receiver up for that. That could be a look too. He hasn't scored in like 3 weeks.
Dude, you're telling me you're coming in here dropping meat on a dual wheel Notre Dame POD toothpaste?
I mean, I'm not saying pair. I'm just giving square.
You're supposed to say if the shoe fits.
Well, sorry.
Which one do you like better? You like Fields better?
I like Fields better. Yes.
Okay.
I think he makes a big catch.
Receiving yards?
Receiving yards.
Okay. Go ahead and mark that down in the Goots POD note sheet. Whoever's tracking that.
Also, I'll drop the POD for the day on the feed today. How about it?
Wow.
No shot, Goots.
How about it? I got something on the ice for the kids.
Okay. Let's fucking go, Goots. Cannot wait to see what you're crafting up over there on the ice when you post that puppy on X. Okay. Okay. All right. I might be a Hurricanes fan, Pax Picks, or I might be screaming, roll tide. Whoever wins the Natty this year, consider me a fan.
Man.
All right. Yep. Yep. If you had to pick a Natty champ right now, Jovan, who are you taking? I'm taking Bama. I'm taking Bama. Taking Miami?
I think teams off the top of my head. Not taking Miami. Ole Miss.
TCU? Come on, man.
Ole Miss.
Come on, man.
1-1 next 2 weeks. They're in there.
Come on, man. Love Trinidad. Love the story. Love the kid. Balling out. Come on. We'll see. Can Coach Kiffin do something that matters in a spot that matters for once? That matters? We'll see.
We'll see. Hey, they didn't get to the finish line, but this whole reaction from you in the chat is the same shit, same exact shit I got for Notre Dame last year.
Did they win?
That's what I just said. They didn't win, but I'll tell you who lost a bunch of coin fading him in every single game or fading them in every single game there. Everybody except me.
Okay. Scarf, it's probably not the Buckeyes, man. It's hard to repeat. Let's talk about meat. W Goots, W Meat, W Jovan, W Irish, and W Cincy OK State over.
Yeah. I think this game is going to get damn weird, Krabs. And not a good one for Cincinnati because this is their first game, I believe, since they've been ranked. Last week was a weird game. I don't know why UCF kind of has their number offensively, but it was the same thing as last year, like a super gross low-scoring game. Last year was 19-13, and it was a slog, and UCF was playing with like a backup quarterback, I think third-string quarterback last year, and it was more of the same this year. It's 22-11, and now you're coming off of that game. I think it is incredibly important, Krabs, especially in the Big 12. I think I've done this a bunch of times now, but whenever a team is gearing up for a really tough stretch after having a relative like cakewalk to this point in the Big 12 schedule, you let it all out. This is the game where you see Sorsby slinging it deep because they really haven't done it. Did in the Iowa State game a little bit, obviously, because they were down, or Iowa State's down like a couple guys, but they ran the ball a lot because they were in control of that game for a while, and you didn't really have to sling it until the very end. But now, their upcoming schedule, Krabs, Baylor, Utah, Arizona, BYU, TCU. Those are games that they're not UCFs, they're not Oklahoma States, they're not even Kansas's, and they're sure as hell not Iowa State, who's down half of their defense and their best two players on defense in the secondary. Yep. You let it all out in this game. You sling it. You see exactly what your downfield pass game can do, especially with all these new wide receivers that have been coming on strong. But now you get a golden matchup. Obviously, Oklahoma State's defense is god-awful. They're going to sling it wherever they want against this defense, and they're also going to be able to run for explosives, which every single team has been able to so far at Oklahoma State. I think they're going to put up 40-plus points. But I also think, first game getting ranked, the defense has looked great so far this year for Cincinnati. There's going to be a game, especially with Doug Meacham, because he has one or two big trick plays every week that seem to hit in the last couple games since he's been the coach and the play caller. Sam Jackson's going to have a good game at some point. I think it's this game, especially because the running backs have sneakily been good for Oklahoma State since he run defense has been good. But they bring out a lot of different looks. And the one thing that Cincinnati has not been good against is adapting to teams that throw a bunch of different shit at them, which Nebraska did that for a while. And that's why the short pass game had some success in that game. But nobody's really done that since except Kansas. And what did Kansas do? They put up 34 points. And that game was also on the road. And this is another weird night game in Stillwater where I think they're going to have some life. And the crowd's actually going to be buzzing. For what reason, I don't know. But they have some like special event inviting all the students for free or some bullshit. I don't know the exact details, but it's been empty for the last couple of weeks. Not going to be quite empty today. I think Oklahoma State shows a pulse in this one, a lot more than a pulse, to be honest with you, offensively. And they make this game, It makes sense you chase this game harder than they want to chase it as 22-point favorites.
Okay. First time chatter, Fierro, Dodgers sweep. Wow, fading the Goots POD. That's bold. Fierro. Goots PODs have been red hot right behind Rowdy PODs. Bold move. All right. Let's keep moving to grooving. W meet. W over in Cincy, Oklahoma State. You talking Cincy. And I'm getting involved. Whatever the hell it is. So if it's an over, it's an over. I'm in. Let's just hope the Cowboys can put up a couple themselves. Okay?
Yeah.
All right. Dubs. Let's move. Let's groove. Let's quickly graze through our prize pick squares here, Jovan. Nice and quick. Shouldn't take long.
It's the most crab squares I've ever seen.
Yep. Thank you. Appreciate that. Texas, I think, learned last week, if they want to win football games, they have to win with their defense, and they have to win with Wisner. Okay? Their defense is elite. Their running back is really good. Archie's not there yet. Look, we're going to be looking back here in a couple of years when Archie's in the NFL, and we're going to be saying, damn, I can't believe how bad Arch was to start out his college career. We're going to be saying that. Okay? But we're not at the point yet where we're ready to gas him up, ready to back him to do something good. We're just not. Arch is not there yet. Okay? And this game is going this game is going under. Under the 43.5 total. And Kentucky's going to cover. This is a sneaky spot here after Texas is coming off that big-time win. Shout out the Longhorns. Hook them. Big time. Ranked again. Big time win against Mateer when they were super sharp and caught all that steam. Big time letdown spot here. On the road against Kentucky, who really doesn't have a pulse at this point. Their coach is interviewing. Apparently he's in Blacksburg. Apparently he's the next Hokies head coach. Great. And if you can't see my sarcasm there, it's in there. Okay, I do not want this guy as our next head coach, but he's done a decent job building up this Kentucky program. And this is a sneaky spot here for Texas. What the heck do they have to get up for after that big time win against Oklahoma? And they're thinking they're him again. Well, I think they have to run the ball a million times in this game if they want to end up potentially winning and covering. They probably do win, but it's not going to be by more than 12.5 points. Give me the spread for Kentucky and give me Arch less than 1.5 passing tutties. This game is soaring under. It's going to be a weird, low-scoring, close game the entire time. It's going to be a stinky, nasty game. It's going to be a muck fest on the road here for Texas in a massive letdown spot. And it's going to be the Wisner game, if anything. So go ahead and fade Archie Manning. We'll start backing him in a couple weeks, but this week on the road, after that big-time win, it has to be done.
Arch.
Has to be done. Bo Pribula. Bo just threw what? 3 picks last week?
Two or three. It's definitely multiple. God awful.
Bo threw some of the worst passes I have seen in a long time. 2 picks.
Thank you, Josh. Thank you, Yo.
2 picks against Bama that just were drive killers, momentum killers, and just honestly killed all their chances of winning that game potentially last week against Bama. 2 picks. He's also thrown a pick in each of his last 4 games, including that Bama game where he had 2. So, like I talked about a little bit with Dylan Raiola, I think it's probably time coach sits down, Bo, and says, listen, buddy, if you keep throwing picks, we are going to keep losing. Keep the ball secure. Relax. Take a breath, okay? And I do think, Auburn's defense is good, but Bama's defense, in my opinion, is better. Okay, so he's going to be against an inferior defense here, at least, that has less of a chance to pick off the ball. I think you see him be a little bit more conservative. I think you see the OC be a little bit more conservative. I don't know if Bo is as good as we all thought. Not saying he's bad. Like the kid. The Penn State transfer, obviously, that's better than any QB they've had in recent years, which is hilarious. But after a terrible week last week where he pretty much cost them a game and a cover, I think you got to keep it simple. Run the ball. Take your time. 5, 10-yard out routes, no deep shots. And after he threw some atrocious deep balls last week, I think you see Bo take care of the rock. Only chance they have to win this game. Give me the less than half a pick.
Okay. Going to be a shit game.
Probably. Let's hear what squares are crafting up.
King Barnes has to be taken today or this week because he was absolutely dominating. I think he had this alone. He had like 9 carries for just under 70 yards in the first half. And for obvious reasons, he didn't get the ball in the second half because they had to abandon the run game because they were very quickly, once the second half started, down 28-7. Thank you, defensive touchdowns. But the reason why they got in that situation in the first place was because they started abandoning him probably a little earlier than they should, which is why a lot of the talk this week for Sonny and the rest of the coaching staff is we're going to use Barnes a lot more because we do not want to get behind the 8 ball when it comes to having to pass more in obvious throwing situations when he's gashing teams for 7 yards per carry, which this is rare. TCU hasn't had like a reliable run game since they went to the Natty, and Kevorian Barnes has been easily the best back there. Now he gets not only a situation where you need to use him a lot more to make sure you stay in front of this game, but you're also facing a horrific rush defense in the Baylor Bears, which a lot has come from Lamar's. Jackson Arnold tore them up. A lot of the running quarterbacks tore them up. Avery Johnson did the same thing. But now you have a front 7 that's getting gashed, and you have a situation where you can take control of this game very fucking early with Kevorian Barnes. They're going to use him a ton. I think if there's any reason that Josh Hoover doesn't throw those 3 touchdowns that you think he's not throwing, it's because Kevorian Barnes is going to have multiple of them with 100 yards on the ground. So he's great.
You took that 2.5 fade personally, huh?
I'm just, if there's a way for that to hit, this is why.
Okay.
And then
Let's hope the TCU reads better this week. Okay.
What's up?
Let's hope that TCU reads better this week than it was last week.
Yeah, better in the game, though. I get my squares right most of the time. But we'll see what happens in the game. Xavier House, Washington State quarterback. Great performance on the road, not numbers-wise, but against Ole Miss last week, keeping that game super close. They played ball control, and they were actually able to move the ball on the ground, which helped keep the ball out of Trinidad Chambliss and Co.'s hands. Now I think going to UVA, where they're probably a little bigger underdogs, even with, they were 33 points last week, but they're 17.5 point underdogs at UVA. I think this is going to be a sling it back and forth game against Chandler Morris and that UVA defense, which is god awful and very willing to get into shootouts. And Washington State really hasn't had one of those with Zevi in there for a couple weeks now since he got in the starting job. Last week was probably the one you expected the most to be there, but that was a low scoring game that soared under because they were planning to play keep away from Ole Miss a majority of the game. I don't think you're going to have to do that against UVA's defense, and I don't think they're going to do that. So I think he is slinging rock in Charlottesville.
Fading UVA, I'm in. I'm going to put this in every lineup I take this entire weekend. Zevi. More than passing yards. 2 words, sign me up. Word. All right. Krabs question, do you always have people constantly bitching about your PODs? Rowdy, man. Rowdy, how much time you got, brother?
Yes.
You came to the right place.
Short answer, yes.
Came to the right place, Rowdy. We don't have time to really go into that today, but I will tell you this, Rowdy. People hate because they ain't. They hate us because they ain't us. They hate because they want to be you. They're jealous, right? So if people are hating, that means you're doing something right. And sometimes I need that reminder as well. So Rowdy, hang in there, my man. If they're chirping, that means you're doing something right. Ignore the chirps. Let it fuel you. And don't respond. Don't waste your time. Okay, that's the best way to do it. Best way to do it. Okay, they hate us because they hate us. Great quote. Great quote. All right. W. Rowdy. Krabs doing this for 4 years, by the way. Yep, I've been living that lifestyle for 4 years. Very wise. Might be the wisest thing I've ever said. Goots, about that time, my man. Let's talk about the professionals. Get Tyreek Hill up and moving. W's. I like the college slate more than I like the NFL slate. And Goots, we did it again. I did it again. I forgot to do the honorable mentions for college football here. So that's on me, Goots. It's not on you. I don't know why I keep doing it. I'm going to read these off real quick and we're going to move on. Duke money line, Louisiana Monroe +6, Army +10, Vanderbilt money line, Arkansas plus 7.5, Michigan State plus 27.5, Wisconsin plus 25.5, ODU ML in the Battle of Virginia, NIU plus 11.5, Kentucky plus 12.5, Penn State plus 3, Colorado State money line, Tennessee plus 8.5, Auburn plus 1.5, and Utah plus 3.5. Jovan, did you get all those? Minus 3.5.
Is that the whole slate, Krabs?
Yep. Well, it's all the winners on the slate.
Literally everybody playing.
Yep. You get all that? You write those down?
I can't even process all that.
Okay. Any honorable mentions from you, or?
No, we'll save it for the coin lanes. Talk about those games.
I got them all covered. W coin leans right after this. We've got a live coin leans. We don't have time for a live Hail Mary and 5 guys lineup, but I'll tell you this much. I am not leaving this fucking seat until I know we have crafted up at least one winner between the Hail Mary and the 5 guys this weekend. I don't care if I got to cancel my dinner plans. I don't care if it takes me all fucking night.
We might have time if we speed through these to at least get something set on the platter.
There's no shot we have time.
There's
no shot we have time. But I love your energy and I love your hope. I love your hope. Let's power through these puppies. I know the Hail Mary, it's officially a must-need. Turner Mac, could not agree more. Could not agree more. Dinner plans might have to get canceled. I don't know if I've earned dinner plans after how bad the Hail Mary and the 5 guys have been. But, guys, tail them this weekend. We are smacking one of those this weekend. I've had enough. It's must-need territory officially. Okay? All right. Let's talk about some snooze fests in the NFL this weekend. Like the college slate, a lot more than the NFL slate, hence why I just gave you a million honorable mentions. Jovan, I don't know if you feel the same there or not. How are you feeling about the NFL slate?
Don't love it, especially as much as last week, I would say. So I'm kind of with you.
Okay. All right. Well, let's talk about the professionals. Let's talk about some unders here. Why are we acting like the Giants are Super Bowl bound after one good game? One game, and they have the next dynamic duo for the next decade and a half, right? That's what everybody's saying. Scatterboo, they see one video of him banging his head against a brick wall. Ooh, he's blue collar. And they see one big-time win for Jackson Darts. Oh, I'm so fucking scared of the Giants, who have an atrocious secondary. But luckily, that's not going to matter in this game today because Bo Nix is the opposing QB, or this weekend, excuse me. Bo Nix is terrible as well, and the Giants are too. So give me the under in this game, Jovan. Under 40.5, opened up at 42.5. I want to fade that Giants offense coming off a big-time win where they put up 34 points against the Eagles, who, by the way, if you haven't learned yet, are frauds. And I want to fade this Broncos offense once again, Jovan. They really have not done much the last couple of weeks. They barely could put up 13 points against the Jets last week in their last game. And that game was just absolutely embarrassing. And then they got to take that long flight back for this game. Sure, it's at home, but I'm certainly scared for Bo Nix and co. and their offense in this game. With that total dropping, looks like one of the stinkiest unders on the slates. This is going to be the most boring, worst game of the weekend. Lock in the under and go about your day. You're not even going to want to watch this puppy.
Sure. Gross under. I'll take you to the next primetime game after getting points in the unction last night. I guess technically the primetime game would be the London game, but the next real one, I would say, is this one. The Niners are favorites. I'm sure you'll talk about that. I think they're going to win this game. I'm right there with you. After crowning the Falcons offense for the last 2 weeks after being fantastic in a bounce-back spot, back-to-back weeks after getting pummeled by the Panthers, I don't think they're going to be able to run the ball the same. I know this Niners defense is a little banged up. They've still been solid in the front 7, and I think that's going to continue. I think they're going to do their best to contain Bijan, and I think they're going to put a lot more pressure on Michael Penix to make throws, which in reality he still hasn't really done. Even though the offense has been better the last 2 weeks, it's been just because they haven't had him make throws because he didn't have to because they had the best run matchup of all time on Monday night against the Bills. Now it's going to be a little different. I think this Niners defense is going to scheme well against them. I think it's going to be a slow start. I think the Niners are also a little banged up on offense too. God knows who's going to play quarterback for them, and they're not going to be healthy. I think it's going to be a book of chew for that whole first half. We're going to be bored.
Could certainly see it. Total's dropping a hair as well. We'll see it probably drop even more by Sunday Night Football. So it'll close at least at 46.5. And again, doesn't matter too much. You're on the first half under. We'll see if we get some fireworks late in that puppy. Make that game weird. Avoid any OT bullshit. Okay. Love it. W Snooze Fest. Pack's picks. I would start the Browns defense over those other two, but I'd go Browns defense, Chargers defense, and then Giants defense. But I like all three.
Easy Browns defense.
Yeah, it's about to be a rain game. That total's down to 36. I'm trying to pick up the Browns defense in all my leagues. Okay. Let's keep moving to Grooving Goots. Let's talk about my least favorite segment of the week, the shootouts in the NFL. These never hit. I'll say it right now, and hopefully I'm jinxing the Commanders defense. So over 54.5. Jovan, I guess you could say this is nasty, although if you really think about it, it's not. It's the Cowboys offense. It's elite. Doesn't matter who the heck Dak's thrown to, and CD is back. Unfortunately for my Commanders this weekend, that is bad news. And look at what JD5 did last week. 3 touchdown passes thrown to literal DoorDash drivers in that game. So if he could do that last week in prime time against the Bears, he could do it again against his Cowboys defense that is putrid and worse than the Bears. And I think Dak, CD, Ferguson, and co. Ferguson's about to absolutely grub in this game. Everybody's going to be talking about CD coming back. That's great. But Ferguson, we really do struggle against tight ends, man. And I think he's going to have an absolute game here and score at least once, maybe twice. So Commanders Dallas, there's a reason why this total opened up this high. And there's a reason why it's not moving too much down the last day or so with the news of no Terry and probably no Debo. It doesn't matter who JD5's throwing to. Look at the guys in that Cowboys secondary. They're not good. Diggs is not good. The rest of their secondary is even worse. And JD5 in a must-win spot is going to slice and dice this Cowboys defense. This is going to be the game of the weekend. And there's a reason why this total opened up this freaking high at 55.5, earlier this week. So yeah, go ahead and give me the over. And yeah, Diggs isn't even going to play in this game. And he's the only guy that has a pulse on that defense. So that's a great sign for the Commanders and a great sign for Luke McCaffrey, a great sign for Chris Moore, a great sign for Trevion Burks, who are going to be the top 3 receiving options for the Commanders in this game. Still crazy to me with all the injuries that this total is this high, and a really good sign in America's Game of the Week down there on that turf in the controlled environment in Dallas. We're getting a ton of points in this game. JD5's going off, and Dak is going to follow suit as well.
Yep, I'm out on that. I was trying to figure out my way to back the Titans. I think I want to do it like this because I was reading something this morning that I didn't even know this. I just kind of assumed that Nick Foles got play calling duties, the OC, but he didn't because a couple weeks ago, I guess I missed it. But Bo Hardigree, the quarterback coach, was given play calling duties directly from Callahan. I didn't know that was who he handed it off to. I knew he gave up the duties. I just assumed it was to Holes, but it was to Hardigree, the QB coach. And now it's going to be the same because they announced that he's going to keep his play calling duties. I think from watching the Titans a little bit, unfortunately, I guess a little bit more than you probably should as a human being, feels like the offense relatively stayed the same after that, which probably means Callahan appointed him and gave him the play calling duties because he wanted him to call his fucking plays. Because I know the whole Titans fan base can't stand the play calling, rightfully so. I never really think that Callahan gave up play calling duties. I think it was an extension of him just so he could push off blame to somebody else and try and save his job. I think you're going to see him work in tandem with Nick Foles and take more risks on first down. That was the big thing they're talking about. Nick Foles saying we can't throw the ball, go fast as much as we want to because our first down fucking sucks. We can't get anything on early downs. I think they're going to be super aggressive. So like coach fired system, sure, you got to find some way to back them. I think their offense hops all in on the Pats in this game. I think this is a high-scoring game. I really don't want to fade Drake May because I love Drake May and I love the Pats offense, but I think that defense gets a little bit exposed in this one.
Yep. Well, if you want to fade Drake May, it's probably this week in a weird revenge game, in a coach's fired game. You got the former coach playing against a team that just fired their coach, which is maybe setting up for the weirdest matchup of the weekend. So a lot of weird angles here, and let's just hope the Titans score some points. I certainly like that Drake May less than 1.5 passing touchdowns, but I also kind of like the over in the game as well. And hearing your sell job here on the team total over makes me a little more scared to take that less than 1.5 passing tutties for Drake May. So kind of happy I took that out of my sharp reports or out of my weekend preview squares, and we'll talk about what squares we're on here in a moment. But yeah, Ridley's probably not going to play, which is GG's. He's got a pulled hamstring. Which is certainly concerning and makes this definitely a nastier play. But again, coach's fired system, back this offense when they hit the reset button against a Pat defense that's given up some points at times this season. Let's hope they do it. And we're not asking for the world. 2 tutties and a field goal. Sure. 2 tutties and a field goal. Okay. Yeah, dueling revenge games, Holy Howitzers, one of the weirdest matchups I've ever seen. I'll be honest with you, super weird. And I'm surprised to see as many people taking the Titans +7 as I am seeing. Maybe it is that easy to see, with that weird angle of the coach getting fired and the Vrabel revenge game. I'm seeing people taking the Titans +7, so maybe this is a good pivot. Jovan and just taking the Titans to score 17.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's move. Let's groove. Yep. Get Chig up and moving. Sock Station is saying you might need him. You might need him. It'll be a Chig legacy game. Yep. All right. What's the prize picks code for new users? I believe it's Bookit. Hippie Dog. I believe it's Bookit. Is Pacheco ever going to get going, or was he a bust this season? Probably not the time for that one, Big Cheesy. But yeah, I'm officially giving up. I'm officially giving up.
Last week, dude.
He was doing all right. He just doesn't get the rock as much as he should. It's bullshit. Yeah. If I was the OC,
he's looked so much better though. Especially, I think when Rashi's back in the fold now, I think he's got some more chances.
Hope so. Don't understand why Kareem Hunt's so involved. It's pretty fucking stupid.
Yeah, Kareem Hunt's fucking moose. I don't know why they're trying that.
You see that Kareem Hunt 2.5 receiving yard square that's up there? You might want to peep that. While I give my sell job here.
It was a lot
in the
higher
next category. Too. Which is insane because the Raiders are one of the worst defenses at containing RBs in the receiving game. That might be the weirdest square of all time. Okay. We'll talk about squares here in a moment. For now, let's keep talking about some straight bets we like this weekend in the NFL. Goodsy. Let's go ahead and talk about some blowouts, my man. Browns. 2 words. Browns. Dylan Gabriel and the Browns fading. Tua. After those just absurd comments, I think I'm officially out on Tua. He might be a sneak me guy. You don't do that to your team and throw them under the bus on the podium. You do it in the locker room like a man. Like a man. You don't do that on the podium. So if anybody even cared on this Dolphins team, they probably don't after that bullshit happens. And it's not like their coach is a leader of men either. He's a great offensive mind, but not a leader of men. Hence why this is just not working out in Miami. They need a reset. They need a new QB. They need a new coach. They need a new everything. And this defense, Jovan, is not good, but they've had a couple decent performances. Over the last month, I guess they held the Bills to 31 points, which is pretty good for the Dolphins. They held Carolina to 27 points. I guess that's kind of good for the Dolphins. Anytime they give up less than 30 points, I guess is good for the Dolphins. And I guess what I'm hinting at here is their defense is bad. And the Browns, Judkins should run all over this Miami defense. After Judkins didn't do shit last week, I think he has a big time week this week. And, their rookie QB has the best matchup he's had so far this season as well against that secondary that's literally burnt toast for Miami. So this one is a must need officially for the Browns. And I think you do see the rookie QB get their first win of his young career here. And I think you see the Dolphins at home in a rain game run the ball a million times. This is a big-time Judkins game. I'm starting him in my DFS lineups this week because I think he gets the ball legitimately 30 times in a W game script. I think he carries his team to the promised land and gets them a big-time win against a dead Dolphins team. This one simply needs more for this young Cleveland squad. At home, they get it done.
Need it bad. And so do the Chargers. Even though they're coming off a win, they did not look very good in doing it. And frankly, we're handed that game by the Dolphins. And they haven't covered it. And depending on what you got in the Broncos game, because they landed directly on 3, you either haven't covered in 4 weeks or 3-0-1 in the last 4 weeks. Been a while since they covered. And obviously with this one, in all likelihood, that would end up winning because they're -1, 1.5. I think they're going to beat the Colts tonight or this weekend. And this is the battle for the 1 seed now that the Steelers have lost. So the winner of this game will hold the 1 seed in the AFC. Not that it matters this early, but it's kind of a statement thing, I think, for the Chargers because they need this one to get back on track. They haven't looked good over the past handful of games. Herbert hasn't looked fantastic. He's put up some numbers, but against the better teams, he's looked kind of ghost. Obviously, you're dealing with the injuries in the backfield with the run game. Who's it going to be? Vidal or Haskins? I think it's going to be Haskins this week, but separate conversation. Then you're dealing with injuries in the wide receiver room with Quentin Johnson. God knows what that's going to look like this week, but they're reshuffling a lot on the offense. I think this is the perfect time to buy low and get it going against a team like the Colts, which have been on their Mickey Mouse run for so long. And I think they are an actual legitimate, decent team, but going out west to SoFi against this Chargers team Not going to really make the fan argument, obviously, because there's probably going to be just as many Colts fans there, just like any other team. But going out west with all the pressure on them against the defense that's getting some reinforcements back in the front seven this week, too, I think they're going to be a lot more physical. I think they're going to do the best job that anybody's really done on Jonathan Taylor really all season, because he's been going fucking nutty. And now I think this is the perfect time where they get caught on the road.
Okay. 2 words. Winner. If it wasn't on your card, it would have been on mine. Love this play. Keep this one back pocket, chat. Might be a 2-3 unit sneak whale. I'll say it.
Wow.
I'll say it. Might be. All right. Great sell job as well. My goodness. Officially a must need for the Chargers to get their swagger back, their mojo back. And maybe we see Joe Alt. Yep. Maybe we see Joe Alt.
Yeah, I saw you just practicing. I didn't know if that was. I'm sure we'll find out today, I guess, a little later.
Let's hope. All right. Let's move. Let's groove. Upsets. Yep. I'll do it. Only guy I've seen out of the 8 billion to take this bet this weekend. The exact spot I want to be in. I'm going to sleep like a baby, taking the Jets +1.5. I might even take the ML, but for this segment, I'll take the +1.5. Take any point you can fucking get with this Jets team that is that bad. They get a win against the Panthers. This is the ultimate buy low, sell high spot this weekend, just like I talked about the ultimate buy low, sell high spot last weekend with the Cardinals and Jacoby Brissett after their coach was hitting their players. They cover with ease, and you're going to see the Jets cover with ease this weekend in the ultimate buy low, sell high spot of the NFL week this weekend. Carolina coming off of back-to-back wins. They've won 3 of their last 4 games. They're coming off a big-time win outright as a dog against the Cowboys. Before that, they beat the Dolphins. Doesn't count. The Dolphins suck. They lost to the Patriots mixed in there, and they beat the Falcons 30-0 in that game before that. Jovan, what do all those wins have in common, my man? Do you know?
What is that, Krabs?
All those games were at home. I know we talk a lot about baseball splits. We talk a lot about home and away splits on the Diamonds. Might be the first time we're getting a home and away splits involved on BTL this season on the gridiron. Bryce Young is a home field merchant. Bryce Young at Bank of America Stadium is unbelievable, man. He is night and day. He looks like a different guy out there on his home field. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because he's sleeping in his own bed. Maybe he's hanging out with his girl. I don't know. And to be honest, Jovan, I don't really care. All I know is that Bryce Young at home is a menace. Bryce Young on the road is absolute quail shit. And he showed that on the road against the Patriots where they only scored 13 points. Well, Jovan, do you know where this game is being played this weekend?
That would be at MetLife.
That would be moose shit MetLife. The worst place to play in the entire NFL, but away from home for the Panthers, which means Bryce Young's going to play like shit, which means the Panthers are going to lose, which means the Jets get their first win of the season. Congratulations, Jets fans. Jets fans, let me hear you splooge in the chat. The 1 or 2 of you that even exist, and I'm not giving up yet. Congratulations. Your loyalty will be rewarded this weekend, and your Jets are going to be getting their first win of the season. Jovan, the ultimate buy low, sell high spot here. The Jets are going to be the hungrier team. Hungry dog runs faster. They're starving to get a win, their first win of the season, and they're going to get it this weekend against the Panthers, who just beat Dak Prescott and the Cowboys in that great game. They're going to be in an ultimate letdown spot here on the road heading up to New York. Justin Fields and co. need this one bad. Their new head coach, who is an atrocious head coach, I'll say it, not a good head coach. I called it from the start. Was not going to be a good head coach. He's a great defensive coordinator, but not a great head coach. But again, hungrier dog runs faster. The Panthers are a hair fat, happy, complacent in the spot after they've won 3 of their last 4 games. And the Jets have still yet to win a game. Well, they changed that this Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern at MetLife. Be there or be square.
Be there or be fucking square, Krabs. My God. You know where else you need to be? In
TM
London
Sharp
for the
said,
Jets.
yeah, give me 1 second here. Only want to watch this game to genuinely see how the Jets move the ball with no Wilson. Well, I'll tell you right now, they're going to run the living fuck out of the football, and Breece Hall is going to have his best game of the season. Book it. Jovan, tell me why the Jags are covering the +3. I love this play.
Had to immediately sell all Ram stock after they're, practicing and staying in that Moose City, Moose ballpark out there in Baltimore. And after, Stafford's going to the mountain, no cleats, man. Just really bad for the Rams.
Me guy move, I'll say it. I'm a Stafford
me
guy.
Move, dude.
Me guy move. It is.
Now you get to go to the faux home of the Jags out there in London. Jags team that I guess, like, I think throughout the rest of the season, which we've seen it so far, I just feel like they're going to be one of those zigzag teams just because of how they play. Very volatile on both sides of the field because defensively, like, they just play like they're trying to bait you into something, which is not great against a veteran like Stafford, but they want to force like havoc. They want to force turnovers, and he's been free of that for the last couple weeks. We'll see how that works without Puka in the fold this week. I think it's going to look a little different, but I respect this Jags defense. I think they're progressively getting better and better as the year goes on, and you're going to see them have a lot of great performances, a lot of shit performances. Same with the offense because T-Law is going to have to get the ball out quick, and I know from the time at Tampa with Liam Cohn, he loves game planning for games where he's going to have to get quick concepts out because that's the baseline of his offense. And you obviously know the Rams in that front seven are going to put pressure against that offensive line that's not great. And Trevor Lawrence, which has not had great games against pressure, but those are some of the best play calling games that I saw Liam Cohn have all throughout last year, especially when the offensive line was banged up. So I think they're going to come out with a good plan. They're going to have a lot of short passes for Trevor, and it's going to work, marking their way down the field and also keeping the ball out of Stafford's hands, which I think if the Jags can do that, and they have been able to do that in the spots where they've won this year, this is going to be a slower game than you think in a Book of Chew game, but it's also going to work very well in the Jags' favor to control the clock, which I think is exactly what they're going to do. It's going to be a Jags +3.
So in. Had this in the honorable mention category for the NFL, but took it out when I saw it under your upset card here. Love it. I will be on it myself, tailing this puppy. Unbelievable sell job back in the Jags in their home away from home. And yes, Pax Picks, you're correct. I would rather literally take a bite out of raw ostrich tendon than place a square rager. Yep, you're 100% right. You're 100% right. Not I said it better myself. All right, let's move. Let's groove. Let's talk about our meat. Speaking of ostrich tendon, speaking of meat, let's talk about our favorite plays of the weekend, Jovan. Give me the 49ers on the money line. Give me the IR team. Give me the team that's so banged up, so hurt. Well, at least they get Kittle back this weekend, which honestly could be the difference. They're going to need all the help they can get. And I do think this will be McCaffrey's best game on the ground. Nobody's talking about it, but McCaffrey's been much more of a factor in the receiving game than he's been on the grounds for a couple reasons. Number one, all the injuries for the 49ers, and they need another receiver. They need another guy who can go out there and catch the rock, and you've seen McCaffrey lined up a lot more as a receiver so far this season because they need a guy to go out there and fucking catch the rock in a lot of losing game scripts as well. So I do think this will be the 49ers and the best McCaffrey rushing attack we've seen so far this season, which might be a weird take against this Falcons D line, but I'm seeing it, and his rushing square on Prize Picks backs me on this as well. Completely Reds up at 59.5. He's going to get more than that number, and I'm very excited to watch them milk the clock in this game and Mac Jones put up another Mac Jones masterclass in this game. So have to fade the Falcons coming off that big time win in that last game. When people are hopping back on the Falcons bandwagon on prime time, I'll go ahead and take the favorite here, coming off a loss, coming off of 2 losses in their last 3 games. They get Kittle back. This is a McCaffrey legacy game, and the Falcons are a must-fade, coming off of back-to-back wins. And the Falcons are just one of the most poorly coached teams in the NFL, respectfully. And this is a Kyle Shanahan game. This is a game that Kyle Shanahan goes out there, saves his job, quiets the chirps, and goes out there and finds a way to win this game. And I do think it's going to be McCaffrey doing it on the ground. Bounce back after that embarrassing loss against your Bucks on the road last week. You see that the 49ers get their swagger back.
Yeah, shout out the Bucks. Really good.
Yep.
Shout out to S. Johnson.
Yep.
I'm with you. I'll be taking the Niners. Mandatory.
Okay.
Okay. Super rare that I'll have a pretty square, you would think, big favorite up here, but taking the Packers. I think it's Packers belt to ass, especially after last week. Similar situation, except the Cardinals were on the road and they were doing it with Jacoby Brissett. It's still up in the air whether Kyler Murray is going to play. I hope he does because he's exactly who I want in here. If not, I'll be fine fading Brissett. But they just came through against the best team in the NFL. Colts on the road, +6.5. Same line, pretty much same line. You could have got +7s or 7.5, I guess, at some point. But similar scenario. Now you have the Packers who, after the last handful of weeks, that minus the bye, of course, like everybody is kind of off of now. They came off and looked great to start the year, had the tie against the Cowboys where everybody was on them, and then last week they didn't look great against the Browns, or the Bengals, sorry, in that game. That was first Flacco game. The offense didn't look good until the end. They eventually pulled away. I think this is where everybody goes back to raising an eyebrow, especially on the road. I feel like the Cardinals are always like really weirdly fake sharp in one game in Arizona. This feels like that one. I think not only are the Packers going to get back on track against a defense that has been pretty good. We talked about that before the season. Their numbers are great, except in the fourth quarter when everything seems to fall apart. I think you get a full 60 minutes of belt to ass from Jordan Love and co, which, again, they didn't have a touchdown until deep in the first half, I believe, of that game against the Bengals. It was ugly for a while. And now you get a defense that you're going to be able to take deep shots on. The linebackers have been good. I think that's going to be a lot of Josh Jacobs to kind of open that up to start. And now you're going to get either Jacoby Brissett against a really good defense that's going to have a lot of pressure on him, or you're going to have Kyler Murray coming back from injury. I think this screams fake sharp to me, and I'm kind of shocked at how many people are looking at the Cardinals, which is, I guess, is more of a Packers thing and not believing in them than a Cardinals belief thing, whether it's Brissett or Kyler Murray. But I think this is belts all the way through.
All right. We can see the Packers look good for the first time since Nam. I'm in. Could be a good time to sell high on the Cardinals after they left it all out there on the field last week in that cover in a game they probably should have won.
Shut up. Yeah.
I'm in. All right, let's move on to the squares. We're going 1 minute each for these. A-Chain, I mean, what the heck do I have to sell here besides he's going against one of the best rushing defenses in the NFL, in the Browns, in a game with a 36 total, in a game they're about to lose. And the fact that the square is up again, Jovan, is absolutely absurd. 2 words. I did not hear no bell. Go ahead and give me the A-Chain fade once again after I lost coins on this last week. Going back to it, he's literally had 4 touchdowns in his last 3 games and 5 touchdowns in his last, or 6 touchdowns in his last 5 games. Fade him. The guy's not Adrian Peterson, and especially not against his Browns D-line. And then Breece Hall. How about a more than? This should go well. Breece Hall has not had a rushing touchdown all season, Jovan. That changes this weekend at home on the MetLife turf against an atrocious defense. He's getting in the fucking end zone. He's finding pay dirt. They're going to make it a point to feed Breece Hall. That is how this team wins this game and wins their first game of the season. The chart cannot be redder. Has literally not scored all season. That changes this weekend. Minus 120 to score a touchdown on the books. He finds pay dirt.
Bang. Breece empathy. Might need that. That.
Yeah. What do you got?
Wish I had longer time to give a sell job on this because I love this square. But I'll sim it down to this. You got KOC coming off of a bye week, revenge game for Carson Wentz. Whenever he's coming off of a bye week, KOC as the coach of the Vikings, he leans into what makes sense schematically a lot more than any week, which if you go back the last couple of years, I don't have time to go through that, and we don't because we got 5 minutes, but he leans on what makes sense a lot. Where is Justin Jefferson going to be? Quinyon Mobe for a majority of the game. Where do you attack the Eagles? It's in the secondary pretty much everywhere else. Jordan Addison is going to have a fucking field day against this defense. So we'll see what happens, whether I don't know. There's going to be some demons involved, but we'll keep it to that. And then Jaden, I don't give a fuck who he's throwing the ball to. Sky's falling after Monday Night Football against the Bears. I don't think so. This Cowboys defense is fucking rat meat, and he's going to have an absolute day himself in Cowboys Stadium where, I mean, a lot of good things have happened for the Commanders in recent history, knock on wood, but this is his comeback game, and he lets you know he's still him.
Turner Mack, it could not matter less who's playing QB for the Vikings. Kevin O'Connell's a go.
Yeah,
Jordan Addison's going off this weekend.
One bit
Doesn't matter. All right, W squares, absolutely bricked up right now for that JD5 square. Jovan, love it. Wish we could have had more time to sell it, but we don't. Let's go ahead and get to the squad ride here for today, so we're not late for the coin toss, guys. Live coin toss coming up right after this on the Bookit Sports YouTube. Do not miss it. Get ready. We got about 3.5 minutes until the live coin toss. Cannot wait. Jovan, Goots, are you gents ready to craft up a squad ride for tonight?
Right.
Run that shit, Gootsy. I want to see that train. Jovan, I might have to put foot down in this game tonight. I'm feeling in my sack. I want the under. I want the under.
Okay.
I want it.
Yeah, the total's still in the same spot, but Louisville's down to 11.5.
Holy shit. 11.5.
Crazy.
That is insane. Supreme Fatty, check it out yourself. It starts in 3 minutes. Jovan, do you trust me?
I do.
Let's take the under in this game. 49.5.
Let's take it.
Okay. They're both hitting. It's not going to matter. Let's take it. Louisville, Miami, under 49.5. UNC Cal over.
Has to be.
Okay. Looks like that's up to 47.5.
Maybe so be.
Okay. We've got those two plays. Jovan, the Blue Jays, Mariners, unders hitting as well. But do we want to make this just a two-piece and keep it simple on the gridiron?
Simple on the gridiron. Yeah, I don't want to toss out meat. If you got meat in the MLB.
I got some MLB meat tonight. I do.
Put it on.
I do. Okay. Anything you're going to lose sleep over if it's not in this poll? Do you want to put Louisville spread in here and just and put both and see what happens?
Nah, we can just leave it under there.
All right. Chat, that under is hitting. Please vote for it. Please. Okay. 3 plays, 3 winners, 2 minutes. Hurry up. Go, go, go. 3 plays, 3 winners, 2 minutes. Hurry up. Go, go, go. 3 plays, 3 winners, 2 minutes. Hurry up. Go, go, go. Get your votes in. Hurry up. Go, go, go. Get your votes in. Hurry up. Go, go, go. Go, go, go. Go, go, go. 3 plays, 3 winners for tonight. Louisville, Miami, under 49.5. UNC Cal, over 47.5. Late night Bill. And then Blue Jays and Mariners, under 7. Get involved. Hurry up. Go, go, go. Get involved. Hurry up. Go, go, go. Don't be afraid to dust off old Krabs. I'm telling you guys right now, the under in this Louisville and Miami game is going to hit. Lock it in. Lock it in. Confidence at an all-time high. Go, 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 go. Go, go, go. Hurry up. Go, go, go. Get involved. 3 plays, 3 winners. You got 1 minute to lock in your vote before the coin toss starts up live on the Bookit Sports YouTube. I cannot wait to see what Trent, Jovan, Lauren, and Rav are crafting up for this college football weekend. If you guys have not checked out the coin toss yet, please do me a favor and check that puppy out right after this on the Bookit Sports YouTube. You guys have been killing it. Cannot wait to see what you're crafting up for this weekend. Okay?
Yep.
Cannot wait.
Also,
cannot wait.
Feel free to take a stroll over to the goals allowed section in the NHL when you get a chance.
Wow. Was not up before BTL and did not have time to look during the show.
Yeah.
So good to see.
New.
Okay. Well, the Vassy Square, I hope that's what you're talking about. Holy shit. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. If I saw that, I probably would have said we put that in the squad ride poll as well. But you know what? It's minus 150. We'll leave it out. That can be a side piece.
Yeah.
That can be a side piece.
Let's put that in.
It's got to make you feel good about your Lightning tonight, huh?
Yeah. I mean, the Gibby Square is not much better on the other side, but
interesting. Might just be an under game then.
Classic.
Might just be an under game then. All right. WBTL today, Jovan. People are dusting off old Krabs. We'll see how that plays out tonight. But I'll be tailing the over in Late Night Bill versus your Cal Bears. WBTL today, my man. Appreciate you guys all tuning in. W. Jovan. Cannot wait to watch the coin toss right after this as well.
Yep. W's.